All right, we're rolling right now.
All right.
You didn't even count down, bro.
Well, it's just going to start pre-recording.
All right.
Then you're getting ready right at the time. 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of the Slice of Life podcast. And folks, you know the deal. We do bring on a couple of guests, and this isn't the only guest that we're going to have, but for right now, we do have Jack. Jack, you want to just look at the camera, say hey, tell everybody.
Hey, guys.
You got to pick up the mic.
Hey, guys. Hello there. Hello there.
Well, Jack, tell everybody, who are you? You know, what do you do?
Yeah.
How are you in 2020? We're gonna do discuss all that right there.
2020. Let's wait a little bit for that.
Okay.
I got a whole story about
For
that.
people that don't know who you are.
Yeah. So I'm Jack.
Okay.
I moved down here in February of this year, right before everything happened. And I love Orlando. I love Disney. I love Florida.
Right.
And I just graduated college in Michigan at the time in December. And yeah, so I came down here with my hospitality degree in February, moved down here with my best friend Mitch, who's coming on later. And yeah, we just came down here, killed it with our hospitality jobs we both got. I was opening up the brand new JW Marriott by Disney Springs.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
That opened up like right before COVID happened. And started doing that for like a month. And then COVID happened and I got furloughed turned into a permanent layoff. And so I've just been, living it up in Florida in the time. And I work at Banana Republic right now.
Hey.
Work in retail.
Hey.
Yeah, it's a fun job. I can't complain.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2020's had its ups and downs, but what can you do?
Dude, yeah. I mean, everybody gives me a different answer every time. Like, everybody that comes on here either has a positive or a negative or somewhere in between, man.
Yeah.
It's a weird year, man. Like a very weird year.
Yeah, for sure.
And no one expected this to happen.
Not
No
at
one
all.
expected to be unemployed. No one expected furloughs. No one expected 25% occupancy, the mask. No one expected any of this.
Not at all.
And that's what I'm saying. Like 2020, man, it turned into like a spiral down effect of like what we didn't know what was going to happen,
Everybody's world got flipped upside down.
Right, man. There's the uncertainty. And I think that's the best way to kind of like, I guess, say it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you agree with it or not, but
No.
I'm just kind of like, whoa.
There's definitely some uncertainty about how the future is going to be.
Right.
But the year COVID happened, I was a little worried. I was like, oh man, like, how's life going to be nowadays? We all have to wear a mask. I have to drive my car wearing rubber gloves and a mask. I was like, oh,
But
God.
you did that?
Yeah, I did that. Like, I was
that,
so scared right when it happened.
Oh, right when it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, right when it...
This house was spotless.
Yeah.
Like everything that I can agree with that. When it first happened.
Yeah, I told my roommate, I was like, bro, you got to stay 6 feet away from me. Like, I was losing it. I was losing my mind. Like, I'm a hypochondriac, so I like freak out about any little thing like that can get me sick.
Dang.
And so it was really stressful for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wore a mask everywhere. Still do, of course.
Right.
But now I'm just like, you know what? This is a new way of life.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's so weird. But we just got to adapt to it and just keep killing it. Like, I lost my job, but that doesn't mean like my career's over.
No,
like,
yeah. Let's take a little trip down memory lane because you said you did the DCP also.
Yeah.
When, and then what did you do? Explain it all.
Okay, so
for all my Disney people out there.
So I'll take you back to spring 2016.
Ooh, okay.
Actually, 2015. I was currently in college, and I love Disney. Like, I've always loved Disney. Coming here all my life. And then I found out about this thing called the Disney College Program, and I was like, okay, this is something I really, really want to do. Like, I get to kind of take a break from school while still being in school,
Right.
And just, have a good time working at Disney. And so I applied for that, had my interview. It was an awesome interview. Got hired about a month later. And that's like when my whole world flipped upside down. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to Disney in January.
Disney.
Yeah. So I applied for the spring 16 program. So I was there from January 16th around there until May. And it was a good time. I worked at Crystal Palace.
Dude, that's awesome. that's the buffet one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's in Magic
The
Kingdom.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, with Winnie the
Yes,
Pooh and all his
yes,
friends.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so I was a seater there, and I did that for a few months. I had a great time.
Right.
You know, met so many people. Got to go see the fireworks every night. Got to just go on any ride I wanted to whenever I was off work. And so, just someone who loves Disney, like that's a dream come true right there.
Right.
And so I did that for a little bit, and then the college program ended. Went back to Michigan, finished a little bit more of school. Didn't finish completely, and then I was like, man, the whole time I got to go back to Disney.
Did something get to you? Like, I feel like even just whenever I go visit home, like this is what I feel, is that once you step out of this Disney bubble, do you feel like everything else is crap? Like the rest of the world just kind of like, isn't as spectacular as
For sure.
fucking Disney makes it out to be in Florida.
Yeah, like everything was, just amazing, perfect, nothing but fun.
Perfect's a stretch, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just an all-out good time, and then I go back to Michigan, and it's cold. I'm living with my parents. Like, nothing wrong with that, but like,
Nothing wrong with
it was just like, man, what was my life like? And so I was like, man, I gotta go back.
You gotta go back.
Like, you know what? School, that'll come later. Like, there's no rush to get it done. I'm going back to Disney. And so I applied for spring 17.
Right.
This time, spring advantage. So I was there for like 2 or 3 more months.
Right.
And did that for, like, all right, I applied for it again. And I found out a month before I got there, I'm working at Crystal Palace again.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, okay, like, kind of want to try something new.
Yeah.
But like, it's all the same managers. I still had them all on Facebook and connected with everybody.
Right.
And I was like, this might be fun. So I go back there, and I rush through the training. Like, they're like, hey, you worked here, 6 months ago. Like, you know it all. And they made me a trainer. They gave me like a position called a signer, which is something
As in your DCP.
in my DCP.
Oh,
it's
shit,
something they
okay.
don't give, college program people.
Yeah. I knew one person that did get trainer and did get like at least getting up to coordinator.
Yeah.
But he was there for a while. This dude was a hard worker. Wesley, if you're listening to this, like, congrats, dude. But keep going.
Yeah. So did that, and the second time I did my college program, it wasn't the same.
What changed?
I still, I went out, I met people from all over the world, but I think I was just holding on to that first experience I had, and I thought it was so perfect. Like, I had the most perfect roommates, coworkers, just all out fun
You were
times.
comparing it.
Yeah,
from the
I was
wazoo,
comparing
dude.
it, and that was wrong of me.
Right.
And I was like, okay, like I this is going to be different. This is something brand new to me, and I was kind of a little bit sad about it. I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. But long story short, I had a girlfriend that time during the program, and I was with her the whole time. And then after the college program ended, I was like, oh, I'm going to stay here. Like, I'll work something out.
That convinced you.
Yeah, maybe I'll just school come a different time.
Yeah.
I'll work at Starbucks. Nothing wrong with that, but like, I just wanted to stay down there and not like, finish my future.
Right.
And I had a long talk with my parents, and they convinced me that I need to go back to Michigan, go back to school. And I'm so glad they had that talk with me, because I needed to get, I needed that talk. And so I go back, finish my remainder 2 years of college, and I graduated with my bachelor's degree in hospitality management. Yeah, thank you. And so now I'm back here.
So one thing is I do ask like everybody, because most of the people that are here are Disney people. It just sucks for a lot of the people right now that aren't in the college program. We don't have a college program right now. We don't have an international college program. We don't have any of these people that can really enjoy this experience that we did. But if you can take away one thing that you loved about it, what would that be?
Yeah, it's
About
definitely
the college program.
Yeah, it's definitely the people you meet.
Okay.
You meet people from all walks of life, all around the world. It just everyone has like a different background than you,
Right.
and you guys just all kind of come together and share your differences and just make the most out of the time you have with each other. Like my roommates, my first college program, they were my best friends, and I still keep in touch with them. And I'm so thankful for that experience I had because it was something I needed to have.
Yeah, man. I get you, dude. I'm just glad that we got to experience it. I'm assuming we're gonna get it back maybe next year.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get it back. You
We'll
know what I
see.
mean? Like everything that's going on with 2020, it's just kind of like I don't know. Like, but we always look forward to them. It's always like new people we get to meet and everything, and it was always a fun like experience to get to meet new people.
Yeah, of course.
So whenever I did it like in 2019, the beginning of spring, I loved it. And like I didn't like where I was, but I was in parking, man. Like,
You were parking?
I was parking.
Oh,
dude.
man.
Yeah, I know. But slowly but surely, it started growing on me. I started loving the people. I met
Yeah.
my best friend there, and I was just like, okay, this is phenomenal. I can't believe I gave it too much shit, bro. Florida Heat does not play around, man.
No, it
like,
doesn't.
I mean, you grew up in Michigan, dude. Were you in the up?
I'm in like the dead center of Michigan, Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
So it's very cold there in the winters, but summer, perfect weather.
Perfect weather.
Yeah, it's like 75 and sunny every day.
Ooh.
Yeah, but then, you're so used to that weather, then you come down here and you're like, holy
Bro.
shit, it's hot.
Did that dramatically change for you? Like you just knew you had to fucking adapt? Because I can even tell like you like layering, you like
Yeah.
fucking wearing like sweaters.
Got my
fucking
fall
pants.
fashion
Dude,
going on.
For real, it's just so hard to adapt to that. Like here, I guess it's like because it's so hot.
Yeah, like in Michigan, I'm used to just, even in the summer, like I wear pants, like a light shirt,
Yeah.
and I come to Florida and I'm like, I gotta wear like tank tops, shorts, just the most minimal clothing. And I'm like, nah, I gotta have my roots.
Dude,
I gotta have my Michigan roots.
Dude, I know fucking the bearded, the icicle guy, the surfer. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't follow surfing.
He's this guy that surfs the big lakes over there around Michigan.
Okay, yeah.
And the fucking coldest weather. He's known as Icebeard.
Icebeard.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
No.
Damn, man. This guy is like literally just goes out. He's so fucking bizarre and crazy. Like he just goes out and fucking just ride these icicle waves, man. He comes out, the water's frozen to his beard, so that he's like has like ice picks and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how cold it gets up there, man, but I hear it's fucking brutal.
One year I went to college in northern Michigan. It was pretty much
The up?
It wasn't the up.
Okay, because I just know the up, and I just want to keep saying the up.
I mean, yeah, feel free. It was so it's Petoskey, Michigan. It's like the very tip of
Are you Petoskey's out there?
Yeah, all you Petoskies.
I don't know.
It's like it's in the main part of Michigan. I don't know what you call it. The mitten guys.
The mitten.
Other way.
If you know what he's talking about, comment.
Michigan viewers. So yeah, it was the very top, and then there's Mackinac Bridge that connects the mainland to the UP. If you live up there, you're called a Youper.
Yes, I heard of that. I have a friend named Katie. She's from Michigan, and she like the Youper or the people up there called the Youpers.
Oh God, people in Michigan are so prideful about their state,
dude. Right?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. When I'm back home,
besides college ball or college football, which is Michigan and all this stuff, dude, people are very prideful over there.
Yeah, like when you're driving around up there, almost like 90% of the people have a Michigan, like just the state stickered on the back of their car, and it's like, okay, I guess we're pretty prideful here. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but it's just
nothing wrong with that.
It's just funny. I've never seen it. 100%. Like in Florida.
You don't, but that's so. And because you brought it up, you don't see a lot of like. Because I'm from Texas, dude, and people are very prideful there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's sports or not. It's just like, I'm from Texas,
Texan,
like yeah, dude. Here in Florida, you don't get that. Like, and you can take the sports teams as an example. Like, they don't rally around like Jacksonville Jaguars or the fucking Miami Dolphins like they do the Dallas Cowboys.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? And it's so bizarre. And I kid you not, when I went to a Rays game, and they were playing the Rangers. A lot more people were fans for the Rangers than there were the Rays.
Gotcha.
I don't understand why. But it's just like, I don't know if it's just the establishment here is just, there's a lot more tourist people that they just don't stay for the longest time. So it's hard to really create a base.
I think that's what
You know
it
what
is.
I mean?
Everyone's very temporary in all of Florida.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so nobody really kind of gets attached to like what Florida has to offer. It's just like, you know what? We have good teams, but whatever.
I mean, have you ever been to like an Orlando Magic game? Or
See, that tells you how much I love Florida. Like, I've never been to a game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember the DCP, they were like saying like, hey, we have buses going to Orlando Magic games, and like, I should definitely sign up. And I was like, I think I work, but it's like, I'll keep it on my mind. Never did, bro. Never did. But I just think like Tampa Bay, for the people that don't follow baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, I wanted them to win the World Series so badly, but you know, because they were the underdogs ever since that Longoria was back in 2008. I don't know if you know a lot about baseball, but like the Tampa Bay Rays are like the complete underdogs of baseball, dude. They have the worst stadium in the MLB.
Really?
Yes, bro.
See, I know nothing about baseball.
Bro, yeah, I'm telling you, the stadium is shit, but it's so fun and unique to go there. I had to go see it. So I went to like a couple of games last year.
Yeah.
And it's just bizarre to me that like Floridians don't rally behind a team like the LA Dodgers do, or the Astros,
or like the Indianapolis Colts.
The New York, and it doesn't matter. Like you know, you can keep going like to all these different states, and it's just like the Florida teams don't really stick well. And then you got like Tom Brady here with the Buccaneers now. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
it's just
a
crazy.
mess.
It's crazy, man.
However, I do want to go to an Orlando soccer game.
Bro,
I heard they're pretty good.
Are you into soccer?
Like, you know, I'll watch it. Like, I'll watch the World Cup, but like,
okay, I'll watch the World Cup. Like, you know, it's like if the USA is in it, Mexico's in it. Okay, I'm watching.
But ask me about a team or a player, nothing.
Nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Like you hear the FC games, the like Barcelona versus Madrid, or I don't know. I for all you soccer fans, like I respect soccer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100% respect it. Will I watch it every day, like for the rest of my life? No, probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. But World Series, the World Cup. I'll watch the World Cup.
World Cup's good. Speaking of World Series,
yeah.
You know, I just found out we were having it like a couple weeks ago, right?
You don't follow baseball.
I don't follow it, but like we were at Kitty's, you know, and the game was on. I'm like, wait, this is like the World Series is going on? Like who was it?
It was Tampa Bay and the LA Dodgers, man.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why, like, I think that's why I kind of respect it, because I was like, I live in Florida. Fuck yeah, I'm going to go. But my roots are from Texas, man. And, you know, I love the Dallas Cowboys. That was very weird.
Something's going on over here.
Like some ghost in here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know. No, dude, we literally, those things kept falling, so we taped them up there.
That happens at my house, too.
Bro.
We kind of just gave up. They're like, it's like half a blind or whatever.
We were just like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. But dude, let me get into this topic now.
Yeah.
See how you feel about this, but
all right. Gotta take a sip of beer for this.
Oh yeah, take a sip, man. This is our little tequila barrel type of Mexican cerveza that we had left.
By the way, guys, Johnny makes great beer. This is homemade.
Hey, don't give him, because I can't make a shit ton of this stuff. But thanks, man.
Hey, it comes in small amounts.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you again for having me on this podcast.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dude. I'm glad to be here.
One, how did I meet you? It was I think it was like at one of our get-togethers, I think.
Yeah,
and then,
I met you. I went to Adam and Jake's house, and you were there.
Yeah.
And I thought you were the roommate, like one of the roommates that lived there.
Yeah.
And then when we left, I asked Mitch. I was like, "Wait, so Johnny lives there?" And he's like, "No, he doesn't live there. He's just friends with them." And I was like, "Oh, he's a really nice guy."
Yeah. Yeah, I met, like, when I think you weren't there, or the first time I ever met Mitch, this dude was like wearing like sandals, long like buttoned up shirt. I was just like, who's this guy? Like, this guy's a character, all right. And then like he brought in years, like, this guy's a character. Like Bio's a character. I was like, these guys are fucking cool. But I was like, dude, yeah, that's how I met you guys. I was like, dang, this is a cool group. I was so glad I met all of y'all.
Yeah, it was great. Speak of the devil.
Speaking of the devil.
There's this guy.
That slippery little snake comes in.
A little
Go ahead,
snake in the grass.
Go ahead and
I need
just,
to pee real quick.
okay, yeah.
Oh,
It's going to be over there. You know what it is, right?
Over here.
Get your life together, buddy.
No. Keep going. It's going to be the second door on your right. They're in the hallway.
I don't know if he got there.
I think
Okay.
he got it. So where was I going with this? Oh,
You're talking about me, Mitch.
Yes.
How you met?
But that was what I was going to say. What I was going to say was, oh yeah. Now I remember. Well, 2020, man. COVID, everything, the parks. How do you see it?
It's tough to say. I kind of feel like the whole mask policy is going to be in place for probably at least another year.
Okay.
I hate to say it. I feel like with everything going on, we're about to go into lockdown again.
You feel like it?
I think we are.
You think so?
Because I was supposed to go to New Mexico for Thanksgiving, and that whole trip got canceled because they just went on lockdown. So all the national parks are closed, just all the restaurants, everything.
I don't understand the national parks closing.
Yeah.
I don't mean to barge in like that, but keep going with that. We'll get on to that.
Yeah, it's just like, why do you have to close the national parks? Like, we're all far away.
Outside,
we're in the middle
we're
of
just
nowhere.
like nowhere. I don't understand,
Yeah.
but keep going with what you're saying.
Like, I'll wear a mask if I have to, but like, come on, man, don't close the parks. Close Disney, but don't close the national parks.
But so you think we're gonna go into another lockdown?
I think so. I think the beginning of next year, 2021, we're definitely going to do some sort of lockdown.
Yeah.
And it might not just be us. It might be the rest of the world. Like, other countries might go back on a lockdown. We'll see.
I think it was, what was it? It was somewhere in Europe, one went into lockdown for like 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, and they handled it.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I think we're kind of going to be in limbo for like the next 2-3 years, maybe. Yeah, because I've been doing a lot of research on the hotel industry, and it's sounding like it's going to take a couple years.
It's tough, man. It's tough, especially because hospitality. That's what we're in.
Yeah.
Per se, and that's what's really sucks is that this is getting hit really hard.
It really is.
The entertainment business. It's just like hard to kind of pinpoint how far along it's going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to get it off that easy. You're going to finish off that little cerveza that I have left.
Take a little drinky.
Oh, yeah.
That was yours right there, so you can come join us whenever you're...
Guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my roommate came late to the podcast.
I can explain myself.
Oh, he's going to explain himself to you guys
I'm
because...
ready to hear this story.
So we're rolling right now?
We're rolling.
This guy tells me in the morning, hey, we got a podcast today, and he's the one that shows up late.
He was gonna go get his COVID test done. He was gonna go get all that.
No,
but
that was Jack.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you're like, don't be late for the podcast.
Mike, what's going on?
We don't. We're sharing mics. But
yeah.
right now, he was talking about 2020. Oh, we introduced Jack, so everybody knows who you are now that you're on the podcast. Welcome.
My roommate, guys.
Welcome.
The third episode I've been on.
Yeah.
3 episodes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was on a panel. This is a secondary panel.
Hold it right here.
We should just,
How sensitive?
hold it together.
It's not that sensitive.
It's not that
No,
sensitive.
no.
I'll just lean in whenever I have to say something. But
So romantic.
so I owe everyone a explanation why I was not here, but on time. But
Yeah, let's hear this little story.
So cheers, brothers. Thank you for having me back. By the way,
Awesome.
Thank you for
Johnny's
being
very
back.
amazing.
Jack, thank you again, man.
Thank you, Johnny.
I don't have a coaster. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Don't worry about it. I only had 2 coasters.
Here, I'll let you hold
Yeah,
the
I
mic.
was just I was golfing with Bao, and we were originally supposed to, we got lost on the golf course. We were supposed to be done a lot sooner, but this golf course is in the middle of like a neighborhood, and they don't have signs telling you where the holes are, so we got lost, and it's basically why I was not here on time. I apologize, but guys, here's the dedication I have to the podcast. I don't even have a sun pass, but on my way here, I was on the highway, and I was like, screw it, dude. And I just went right and just drove right through the sun pass. I don't even have one. So I was like, I'm not driving through I'm not paying. So eventually I'll pay. But.
I mean, don't they still have those signs up that say, hey, like, due to COVID, like, we'll bill you later?
No, they don't have those up anymore. Yeah, I guess they're not
Okay, so
concerned.
Welcome.
But I'm here
again,
now.
Mitchell.
I'm here now.
Mitchell, thanks for coming on. And Jack, we appreciate we finally introduced Jack a little bit just to kind of like
Just
get
a little brief introduction.
a brief
It's
introduction.
been rolling.
We're like 25 minutes in now. Yeah, so like we're pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so,
been a good one so
yeah,
far.
Yeah, so and now he was gonna explain how you guys met because he said that's like a story, and since y'all are roommates and everything, we can just talk about a little bit of how you guys met.
Yeah. So first and foremost, this is my lover right here.
Yeah.
This is my good pal Mitchell May. We met in high school, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
high school. So that
High
was
school, Nebraska, and what you said?
No.
Kentucky.
No. Indiana.
Good old Indiana.
I am off on the freaking states.
No,
It's
it's
like
all
all right there.
Yeah.
Indiana and Michigan.
Middle of America. Yeah, so I actually lived back to like my kind of history. Yeah, I used to live in Indiana. Kind of like born and raised in Indiana, and went to high school there, and that's where I met Mitchell Mouse. And we weren't really friends in high school, like we knew each other. And then we both ended up going to the same college as each other, Western Kentucky University. So yeah,
That's where
another
Kentucky
state added to
okay.
it.
Hold it close to your mouth, by the way.
Hey, well, thank you. Thanks, Dad.
Calling each other shit. All right, keep going.
All right, well, I kind of lost my place. So we graduated the same high school together, same year. Then we went to Western Kentucky University, which is about 2 hours away from our high school. And we lived on the same floor in the same dorm. And
So y'all knew each other forever ago then.
yeah,
Dang.
Yeah, it's been like, what, 2009?
Yeah, roughly around 2009.
Yeah, we've known each other
crap.
for like
That's awesome.
over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. Now to think about it. Like,
Mind blown.
Oh, yeah, I guess it has been over 10 years.
Yeah,
That's
When did you
decade.
move to Indiana? When did you move to
It's like
Jasper?
2009,
Yeah,
2008.
That's
I
Were
don't
you a
know.
sophomore?
No, I was a freshman.
Oh, you were a freshman, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was 2009.
dang, a decade ago. Y'all were
Decade,
wow.
yeah. And
2009.
yeah, so we went to college together for our freshman year. Oh man, that's where me and Mitch connected, became best pals.
Yeah, I actually have it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll take it over from here. So we met, like Jack said, we knew each
Before
other.
you start, I know you weren't here for the intro, but the front of the mic is on the side that's taped.
Okay.
So that way, there you go.
All right.
There
Sounds
we
good.
go.
Okay,
Go
sweet.
ahead.
So me and, like Jack said, so we met in high school 2009 and went to the same college. I think we were both kind of up in the air about which college we were going to go to, but it was kind of like a neutral choice. Like a lot of people went to Indiana University, but we weren't, obviously didn't have good enough grades because both me and Jack didn't.
Don't tell people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it is what it, we'll call a spade, but anyway, so, and then the college is not huge. It's not massive. Western Kentucky, it's probably about maybe 13,000 students on campus in Bowling Green. Now, they do have more students, like probably about 22,000 altogether, but they don't, there's like an Owensboro campus and a few other campuses. But so it's weird because there's only about like 5 or 6 like men's dorms. There's a few like co-ed, but most like upperclassmen live in the co-ed. But for freshmen, there's only like maybe like 4 or 5 men's dorms and 4 or 5 girls' dorms. And first semester, we didn't live in the same dorm, but second semester I transferred because I met some friends and I wanted to live in another dorm. And then you transferred as well, right? And because he met some friends and he wanted to live in a different dorm with his friend as well. And then we just so happened to live on the same floor, and the rest was history. I mean, we started hanging out like every day, and we started like first semester. Wasn't that when we went to Nash Bash? You want to start talking about Nash Bash?
Nash Bash.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna get down to the nitty gritty of Nash Bash.
Is that in Nashville?
No, it was like an
Kidding.
hour from Nashville. The guy who hosted the party, his name was Nash, I think. Yeah.
It was like a nickname.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like,
What the?
so like I knew Mitch was going to the same college I was, and I think we like saw each other a few times like walking around, and then one night we were at this crazy party called Nash Bash, and I was like, is that Mitch May? And then we just started talking, having a great night.
So this is where y'all like connected again?
Yeah, like we were connected. Like I met his friends, he met some of my friends, and then we were like, oh wait, you live in Douglas Keene? That's the dorm we lived in.
Actually, I think at the time we didn't even live in Douglas. I think this was first semester.
Well, I lived in Douglas Keene the whole time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I lived in Barnes at the time.
Yeah, but I was living on.
Y'all know where this is at? I don't know.
Well, it's
Sorry.
just 2 different dorms.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
dorms
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
Dorm names.
Yeah, so like I was on a different floor, and then I moved in with one of my friends, and he was living on Mitch's floor, and then we were like, oh, we're on the same floor, and we just became good friends, started hanging out all the time with each other's friends, and it was a good time. And then, do you have something you want to say?
Well, about Nash Bash.
Oh,
so
Nash
he
Bash.
left out the best details of the party.
Goodness
So
gracious.
So this party, one of the first
Rated
times-
G, huh?
Yeah. So this
Trying to
party,
keep it PG, guys.
so this party, like Jack said, it's Nash Bash. This guy named Nash, and he was kind of like a party promoter. Like, I don't know. I don't really recall meeting him too many times, but and they had like this house in the middle of nowhere, kind of on the outskirts of campus. And it was like, I don't think anyone lived there. It was like kind of like an empty house. It was
Right.
really weird, but they were kind of like rich kids, so it was like whatever. And so they owned this house, and they would throw parties there, and it was kind of like a Instagram type or like Snapchat. Like you had to have the details from like someone else. And we had a mutual friend named Tupac. Do you remember Tupac?
Kind of.
He looked exactly like Tupac. I'm not even
Yes,
joking. So
yeah,
everyone
I
called
do,
him
yeah.
Tupac, yeah. And he was like the party promoter, and he invited us to this party, and we didn't we didn't coordinate or anything, but we ended up at the same party. And then like shit went crazy, and some dude like got in a fight about a girl and like brought out a gun. And so everyone was just, I was like, what's going on? Like, what the hell is going on? And then everyone was like storming out of this party, and we're like, what the hell? And like all these police cars coming up. We're like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I wasn't even like, I was just down the stairs like trying to like talk to girls or whatever.
Yeah.
And then everyone had to like leave, and our mutual friend Isaac had to come and pick us up, or maybe it was Tyler. I don't know.
It was one of them.
And
yeah.
then ever since then, we're like, Jack, that was a crazy night. Like once you have a crazy night,
Once you have a crazy night,
like
you
that-
remember that.
Yeah,
for
once
a
you
while,
once you go to a
man.
party at Nash Bash and somebody pulls out a gun, you have and like you're in the
okay,
middle
for
of
Nash-
nowhere. Yeah, that was for the days though. But that's how
Let me throw my 2 cents into this. So I totally forgot about the gun that was pulled out.
Yeah.
Like here I was, like an innocent freshman, 19, 18 years
No
old.
beard, you're
No
just,
beard,
like,
clean shaven.
clean-shaven.
Like, oh man. And I was just like, oh, I'm at a college party. Like this is so much fun. Yeah, and then that's where like I saw Mitch, and then I guess shit went down, and like we just escaped in one of our friends' cars, and we went back to the dorms, and we're like, hey, like.
No one knew what was going on. That was the weird part. Is like no one knew that like a weapon had been pulled. It was just like 5 cop cars showed up out of nowhere. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
I remember we walked outside and there was 20 cop cars. All their flashing lights were on, and we're like,
Dude,
what
that's
just
insane.
happened? Like we're all like mingling with girls. We're like having the best time ever.
And then out of nowhere, you
and
just
it's like,
see, like,
why are all these cops here? And and then after that, we just went back to the dorms and are like, hey, let's
just
kind of chill out for a minute. Yeah.
Freshman year is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so who did the DCP first? Was it you or him?
Me,
Okay, so
yeah.
you, and then you told him about it.
Yeah, so I did, like I said, I did my program in 16.
Yeah.
And then I did my second one in 17. And then Mitch came to visit me actually twice.
Okay.
And we had like the best days going to the parks, doing all the rides. And I was telling Mitch all about the college program, and he was like, this is something I definitely want to do. And yeah, you want to tell him how you got into the DCP?
Well, so it's, like Jack said, he did 2 programs, and I visited you, I believe, on. Was it just one of the programs I visited you? I visited you twice, but I might have done it twice in one program.
Twice in one program. It was a 17 program.
Twice in one program, and I kind of caught the Disney bug, especially after the second time I visited him.
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Because once he went back to Michigan, he was like,
I remember
what am I doing?
at the time Jack had a girlfriend, and I remember we went to Magic Kingdom, me, Jack, and his girlfriend, and we just had a great day. And I remember just like we were specifically, my memory was standing in line at Space Mountain, and like we had a long day, and it was like one of the last rides of the day. And I remember looking at Jack, and I was like, "You are one of the luckiest guys on this planet to be living at the happiest place on earth." And
You
to
thought
be,
that?
I literally thought that. And then he was like, "The movie Beauty and the Beast just came out, the live action with Emma Watson." Yeah, so it just came out, and him and his girlfriend were talking about like after Magic Kingdom, we're gonna go watch it. And I was like, "Wow, like to live the life here."
To live the life here.
And I was,
go,
and I just I got sucked into it, and like ever since then it was like history, and I was just like, I got to do this. And I applied on a whim, and I didn't even think I was going to do it, but I got accepted, and the rest is history.
right there, and then you just started from there. Wow, dude, that's insane. Especially just starting it from like 2016, then you kind of like from that point, and then where you are now, it's like Disney kind of like literally has a grasp on you.
It really does.
And I don't know, I don't know if you felt the same way, but like whenever he said when you go to Michigan, you just don't feel. I don't know, you just don't feel it anymore.
Yeah. don't get me wrong, I love Michigan, but like there's just always some kind of calling back to
100%, dude. Yeah, I'm from Texas, dude, and like I go there 100%. I wear my cowboy hat here all the time just to fucking feel like I'm at home.
Yeah,
like
of course.
that's so
you gotta
sad,
do something,
it's whatever. But and I asked him this, but I would just see what you had to say. But like, do you feel like we're gonna go into another lockdown? Like, and if that's so, like with the parks and everything.
Okay, so I think it could go either way, 50-50 in my mind. I think we could go into maybe I should say it could go like, I don't know, the percentages would be kind of like 30, I don't know, like maybe 3 different ways. So I think either A, partial lockdown, meaning like 3 weeks or like maybe 2.5 weeks of like a suggested lockdown, and maybe some businesses might shut down, some might stay open, and then you might have like a few that are like going to make it mandatory. I think it depends on which state you live in, obviously. That's one possibility. Another possibility is full lockdown, like federal lockdown, where everyone has to get, which in my opinion, I mean, I don't like to talk politics, but I think just economic standpoint, that would be the worst possible scenario. Yeah. And because I think like scientifically, if you do if you do the same experiment twice and try it like for different outcomes, I don't think it's going to work. Now you could argue like maybe the first one wasn't strict enough, but I don't know. I mean, me and Jack stayed in our apartment for a good 2.5 months of doing nothing but going to Kroger. So like, I think that's pretty strict. Publix. Sorry, that's the Kentucky coming out of me. But yeah, I mean, like 2.5 months of only going to Publix and Target. That's pretty strict lockdown, if you ask me. I mean, we
didn't do a lot, man. If you think about it, we didn't.
I didn't do anything. I literally didn't do anything but go. Like we went to like the beach once, but like we didn't see anyone at the beach. It's not like that's. I mean, they were closed. Yeah. We weren't allowed to go to the beach until like the end of the lockdown. So I think that's the second possibility is federal 100% lockdown, trying to close everything again. But then again, like I said, that's probably the worst case scenario because then you'll have more people on unemployment, and I don't want to wait another 3 months for unemployment again after I just got off unemployment. And so I don't think our economy is ready for that. I don't think that would be the best scenario. Fourth scenario would be just no lockdown, but kind of more strict with like maybe say Biden does get inaugurated. Maybe he does make a big speech like, listen, guys, we have to take this seriously. Masks should be required. Maybe a federal mask mandate. I'm not sure, but I think like the third option is probably the most realistic one, kind of a mix between the two. Like, maybe
like a hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid between like a more relaxed lockdown and a more strict lockdown. Kind of like a federal mask mandate might just be just a federal mask mandate, and that's it. And I think that's more where we're leaning towards, especially with, like I said, we can't afford our economy going back under.
Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I am, but I think I don't know if it is maybe a federal lockdown, if they do have the power to kind of do that, but. I don't feel like Florida would.
No, I don't think so.
No, don't think so.
What do you think? I mean, 7-Eleven next to our house, like.
Yeah. Well, I just me and Mitch, we go to a lot of places, not sketchy places, but it's like 7-Eleven.
I know where y'all live.
Yeah.
It's sketchy.
We live in Florida.
We live in Florida. Yeah.
I really
like Florida man.
We find gators anywhere from.
But there's a lot of places in Florida, in Orlando especially, where just people like refuse to wear a mask, and I feel like you cannot get everybody to come to terms with it.
100%. I feel like I feel like we've learned a lot during lockdown, and one of the biggest things I think kind of like all of us can relate to is relationships and dating. And it's like how either it's been very shitty for people or it's been very great for people. What do you think, Jack?
What do I think?
Specifically 2020. Because before, pre-COVID,
yeah,
everything was fine. Like, I don't think there was an issue. Or was there an issue? If there was an issue, bring it up.
No, our generation's always had an issue.
Do you think so?
I think so.
In what way?
Oh, and Jack, you say what do you think first?
Okay. Keep that in mind because I'm thinking about that now.
Let me build off that. What do you mean by that?
So, even before 2020, obviously 2020 has made it much more difficult for like relationship wise.
Okay.
just specifically from my point of view. But I think even before 2020, everyone's kind of is superficial. The word, I don't know, like fake, like
Superficial.
yeah, superficial.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very superficial now, and it's kind of started like very much like around 2012, around 2013, when iPhones were like just everyone had one, or like even a smartphone, like it just became like a thing, and dating apps became like a thing. Like back in like 2009, like when we were freshmen in high school, like when me and Jack first met, it was like Snapchat was like just starting off, and like there wasn't even like a Tinder or like anything like that. Like if you went on a dating site, it was like Match.com, and it was, even then it was like
Christian Mingle.
Yeah, and it were like
Farmers Only.
farmers only. Yeah. But so those weren't very popular, and they're still not that popular, because I think it's just the whole app, like having an app on your phone was just a new thing back then.
Everyone tried to make an app.
Everyone tried to make apps. If you guys don't remember, I mean, I don't know if the audience is old enough to remember this. I don't know the age group, but it was, apps were kind of a starting up thing around 2009, 2010, when people were getting iPod touches or like iPhones for the first time. That's when the serious dating apps started. And that's when it came from old fashioned dating. Like, hey, do you want to go on a date with me? Like a dinner date, or maybe you take like them to like a nice, like, I don't know, like some public, like, maybe show or something like that, like a public area where like an amphitheater or something. It was very formal. It was very like personal, and it was kind of like all you had was their phone number, so all you could do is like, hey, do you want to meet up at 7:00 and get a few drinks and blah blah blah, like I'll meet you there. That's it, right? Now it's more like, well, let me check their Instagram bio, or sorry, their Instagram story, or let me check their Snapchat story, let me look at their location on Snapchat. It's much more like you can keep tabs on someone without even talking to them at all. Like you don't even have to talk to someone at all without knowing what they're doing, right? And that wasn't a thing back in 2009, 2010. Right when Snapchat started, like the whole like sharing your location with your friends, that's like when people started becoming more fake and more like, well, I don't care, you know, if I cut this person out of my life, I still have their Snapchat location. I could still kind of creep on them a little bit, right? That's when people started becoming a little bit more fake. So even before COVID's made it even worse. COVID's made it even harder, just because people don't want to be face to face.
It's literally like stabilized what you're thinking.
It's almost, I mean, it's almost forcing you to do a dating app. It's almost forcing you. Like, I didn't know about Hinge before COVID.
Well, Hinge was new. Like I mean, I had the girls on here.
What do you think,
last
Jack?
one, and I do want to know. And then before that, they kind of told me about Hinge, and I was like, oh, well, that's the newer one, right? And tell me what you think about it.
Yeah.
I don't have a Hinge. Well, we'll get on that here in a little bit, but I want to hear what you have to
say. Dating apps have always been very interesting. I don't know. Like, before COVID happened, you're on a dating app. You're like, oh, this girl is very cute. Like, I'll talk to her. Like, let's go, hopefully start a date or something.
Right.
And then you're about to go on that date, and you're like, this is a blind date. Like, what if this girl is nothing like what her picture showed? So it's like, you got to have the kind of like stress about that, like before the date.
Okay.
You're like, all right, like, who's this girl? Like,
so, and that's what you feel like, like Snapchat or Instagram is for. It's just to kind of see how they are.
Yeah, it's like, I guess if I meet a girl,
right,
like not even on Tinder or like a dating
just
app,
cold calling. I guess you're out there in the wild and you're meeting someone.
Yeah, say I'm at like a party or just like somewhere. I'm like, I kind of want your Instagram. Like,
is that the first thing you say?
I don't ask for the Instagram right away, but it's like, that's a smart choice.
It's a smart choice.
What you
it's
need.
A safe choice, I think.
It's very safe. It's a safe thing to ask, and you really kind of see what that girl's all about.
But based on her Instagram.
Yeah, you kind of like weave out the red flags.
Don't get me wrong, I've done it too.
Yeah,
but
we all have.
But I think is that the go-to now? Like, is that do we feel like?
Hey, let me get you Instagram.
100%. Tara brought up. Shout out to Tara. She was great. But she brought up the fact of Snapchat, that people use Snapchat, that it's like a safe thing to get if you want to just ghost somebody. Do you feel like
ghost somebody?
Yeah, like, because since you can't handle or you can't read the messages anymore after you open it. Yeah. Is that it? Because dude, honestly, I don't use Snapchat as much as I used to. Like back 2016 and before. That was it for me with Snapchat. Instagram came up and they had their little story. I was using that more than a Snapchat, man. But I don't know if that I don't know why people still use it. I think they use it just for that reason alone, just to kind of like be in touch with the girl and then say bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, I get that. I love Snapchat, but I don't like it when it comes to dating.
Okay.
Because it's like, oh, that person sees when I open their Snapchat. They could possibly see where my location is. Like, not that I'm doing anything like sketchy. No,
no,
I'm not being shady. But it's just like you said, if you're gonna ghost
Guys
somebody,
are pretty shady.
if you go on a first date with someone, or it doesn't work out and you're gonna ghost them, God forbid, it's just like, I don't want them looking at me when I open the Snapchat.
Okay.
Give me your number. I turn off the read receipts.
I see what you're saying. 100%.
I started super shady saying that. I don't mean that.
No, I mean, dude, I put more pressure on men just because I feel more old-fashioned than a lot more people do.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. But
I got something to say. Hang on.
So Snapchat, I think why it's so popular with like that's the first app that you like share your social media with a significant other or with someone that you want you want to make a connection with is because it's personal. Like you literally, I mean, at least for me, if you want to make somebody interested, romantically or even like in other ways, but you show your face. That at least I do. That's how I would Snapchat. Like if I was interested in someone,
Your Snapchats would say otherwise.
what do you mean? Jack's got,
he did mention that he'll call you out on your shit if you're not on your shit.
This guy sends me a picture of a wall.
you're a boy. You are a boy. I don't want. I'm not going to send a romantic Snapchat to
your face.
Well, if you want to see my pretty eyes, I can show you my pretty
He's like,
eyes.
I live 12 feet from you, man.
Yeah, literally. We see each other every day.
WKU flag.
Well,
All I have to say is,
right, sorry for cutting you off.
don't you think that Snapchatting somebody will take away from actually seeing somebody in person?
Take away how?
Like you don't. Okay, so here's the thing. Some people get satisfaction out of just talking to somebody.
Right.
Just acknowledging that they messaged them. They don't even want to see them.
Okay.
Now, just imagine if you're Snapchatting somebody. That will take out all of the not expectation, but the anticipation of seeing you, because now she has no reason to see you. You're pretty much messaging her the entire time. There's no reason to meet up. Do you think that's true?
No, not at all.
How so?
I think maybe I'm answering your question wrong, but
I don't know. I'm just going off of what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. If I get a girl's number, which that's the first thing I shoot for.
The number. I feel like a lot of guys don't do that anymore. They go straight to the Instagram and straight to the Snapchat. It's very risky.
It's risky, but that's when you're
higher value.
You exchange, like I think girls like that.
I feel like they do too.
It's kind of old fashioned, but not really.
Yes.
And it's just like, who's this guy just asking for my Instagram, asking for my Snapchat? Like, no, ask for the number, then a few texts. Then it's like, okay, hey, maybe I get your Snapchat.
Okay.
And then that's when it's like, like you're sending me selfies, I'm sending you selfies. We're like, it's kind of like building a trust.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where I like Snapchat.
Okay. I'm not saying that it's wrong, because I don't even know if I'm wrong. But I'm saying that's a good viewpoint to have for all you guys out there that are sneaky.
I think Jack's onto something with that, because I guess it depends on the girl. But if you would, I'm not like any type of ladies' man at all. But if you would probably, take a poll and ask some girls about,
they'll think you're a ladies' man. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, am I a ladies' man? Or not? But anyways. If you would take a poll and be like, would you rather a guy ask for your Snapchat first or your number? I think maybe like 65% might say number, because they want the possibility of getting that either late night call, or maybe that like, hey baby, like I've been thinking about you all day, like that type of call.
Right.
And you could still, send a cute little Snapchat video or something like that. But I think that fact that you have the option to text and both call, or even possibly FaceTime if they have an iPhone, that gives you a higher platform to stand on as like a respectable man, like in a girl's life. I could be wrong. Like I said, I think it depends on the person. Like some girls might say, well, I'm more casual and I kind of like the Snapchat, like the quick, like, how are you doing? I'm good. Like, how's your day? Like, good. Like, do you want to do something tonight? Yeah, sure. They might like that. But I think like the majority, like I said, like maybe like 65% of all women might enjoy like that phone call or that FaceTime.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you feel, because I feel like they freak out if you call, like, you know what I mean? They're just like,
Can't call too soon.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You got to go in a
2 weeks. 2 weeks?
2 weeks after knowing them.
You're not going to get their number and just FaceTime them right away.
No, that's true. That's very psycho of
But
a guy to do.
when we're talking about Snapchat, are we just talking about like texting on Snapchat or like actual selfies back to back?
But see, that's the thing, man. I just think for me, I don't know. Maybe because I am very old fashioned. I don't use my phone as much as like I guess a person that's on technology a lot uses. Granted, I do fall victim to them all the time. But what I meant to say in the aspect of dating is that showing your face on Instagram or Snapchat every day, it's like that. It just kind of like takes the curious of a woman out of it. I don't like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I think even putting it on Snapchat every day kind of like shows that it's just repetition. They're just kind of like, there's nothing new with him. It's just kind of like it takes it off. So for you to put it on every day and then expecting that, I don't know. They have like this new thing where you have a streak going with them, and so what the streak does is you have to constantly be on there. Make sure that streak doesn't go. And so apparently that is worth something to maybe the guys or the girls.
A streak isn't worth anything. I don't care who you are. Like, I'm not going to send you a black screen saying streak just because we're at 100 days.
Keep the streak going or something.
Unless you're taking off your clothes and running to Cherry Hall in the middle of the night. A streak is not worth anything.
Yeah, why is it so...
That was a WKU joke, Cherry Hall.
That was a good one. That's a good one.
Cherry Hall right there. That's I always talked about that. Anytime we would get drunk at our parties in college, we lived like a block away from Cherry Hall, which is like one of the main buildings on campus. And I was like, let's go streaking at Cherry Hall.
Streak the campus.
Dude, I thought you were going Will Ferrell.
We're streaking tonight.
I love that movie.
Freaking love it too bad. But does that make sense? Is that I feel like some people hold that as a sense of value, or even then it's just like if you show too much too soon, I think you'll lose.
Can I ask you guys this? Okay, so
ask me anything.
I recently had a conversation with a girl, a mutual friend, and so going back to, I think it depends on the woman specifically, like with the number of the Snapchat. Some girls like different things, and here's a good example. This girl that I talked to said that she likes guys that have nail polish and rings.
We were about to get in on this, okay?
So what are your thoughts about the percentage of women that might be interested in men with a little bit of a feminine side? Not to say nail polish is feminine, but come on, traditionally it is.
Okay.
That might have a little nail polish or maybe some like silver rings or bracelets.
This is a good little... What do you think about it? Put it in the comments down below. What do you think about it? I just wanted to add that in there. But go ahead. What do you think?
What do I think about nail polish on men? Bleep me out. I'm kidding.
The beep.
No, that was a horrible joke. If you like nail polish, please express yourself. Me personally, I don't think I could rock nail polish. But I mean, if you are a guy, I'm gonna probably just get canceled by saying something I don't want to say.
Don't say it.
No. Someone's gonna cancel me for what I'm saying.
Oh my God, canceled? That's a thing. Just keep
Cancel
going. You
culture?
can say whatever.
No, I don't. I'm going off on a rant. I don't know. So,
would Jaqua ever personally color his nails to make yourself feel like you're having like a new accessory? Are we getting out the White Claws?
Yeah, we are. I had
nice. Yeah.
Okay,
what was
keep
I?
going.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But Jaqua specifically, and I want to ask you, Johnny. Would you guys, if a girl you were interested in said, I think that's kind of hot, I think nail polish or maybe like some rings or maybe some bracelets.
look at this guy.
Oh Jesus, I'll take
Ruby grapefruit or black cherry?
I'll take ruby.
Okay.
What would you say?
I do have something to say, but go ahead.
Love. Hello, love. maybe I'd have a little black Nelly polish on my nails if I was a member of the Rolling Stones.
Okay. That's what you would say?
I don't know. Like my look, I don't think I could rock nail polish. But if you're a guy who feels confident in rocking it, go for it. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Is it an accessory? Would you consider it an accessory?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Both,
Okay.
I mean, both.
Okay.
I want to hear Johnny's opinion.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the root of what you said. I think right now, what's going on, especially in this whole realm of like this whole masculinity thing, is they're trying to rewrite what masculinity is. Because if you ask a girl and maybe a guy, I don't know, I don't understand it, but if you ask them what is toxic masculinity, they'll give you all of the kind of like the drawbacks of what it is. Mm-hmm. But then you ask them, what is masculinity? What is supposed to be masculinity? They can't give you a definite answer. And, for me, I think one of the most masculine things to do, man, is to go, like, if somebody
Paint
goes
your
off.
nails.
Well, for what? No, I don't know about that. But, like, going off to war. Like, that's one of the most masculine things is, like, a guy fighting for their country, doing that stuff. That's very masculine of somebody to do, to sacrifice themselves like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I don't understand this whole like idea of where it's going right now, where a lot of men are being a little bit more feminine, which is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
It's just the idea of like saying that is a masculine thing to do. I'm like, I don't know what to say to that. I don't understand, because I already have this pre-notion of what I think masculinity is. And I'm not saying people shouldn't misconstrue that or redefine it in whatever way they should. Like, if you want me to call you whatever, like, fine, I'll call you that. Yeah. But it's like, shouldn't we already say like, this is what it was, and it should that still be true now? Does that make sense?
I think, I think we should always kind of stay connected to our roots, where we came from, and just like how we were raised. But I mean, I think as long as you yourself have this kind of idea of like what it is, like what masculine is to you, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and dude, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with putting nail polish or whatever. Like, some women like that. What does that say about the guy, and what does that say about the woman? I don't know.
Here's the weird thing, and I don't want to get too deep into this because I don't want to get like any controversy. But the thing about you said toxic masculinity. The thing about toxic masculinity and masculinity is you might ask a woman. You might be like, hey, what do guys do that they that you like and they don't do enough? See, and they might say like, oh, sometimes guys are not like manly enough, or like sometimes guys don't take control enough. And that might not be for everyone. Like I said, it might be like 50-50 or even less than that. It might be like 45%. But like, the paths of toxic masculinity and masculinity sometimes cross, because you might have a woman that might think these traits are toxic, like being more dominant, or like being more like kind of, I don't want to say it like this, but like putting like making the choices right in the relationship, and like kind of being like having the pants on the relationship. They might like that, but then also if they describe the things that they don't like about men, they might also think that's wrong. So it's kind of like they kind of cross paths in a 100%. weird way. And it's like, as men, we're sitting here over like confused. Like, well, do you want me to be dominant? Do you not want me to do you want me to like be like, hey baby, now this is what we're gonna do. Like, you're gonna listen to me. Like that's toxic, right? But they might say that that's what they want. Yes. So it's a weird like cross between the two, and it's kind of like a gray area. 100%. And that's where so many guys, especially our age, get confused with the two.
That's a good way to put it. And for a lot of people that, I don't know, man, I just don't think a lot of people want to talk about it as much. And it's not even just the idea of like for men in general, but to even feel vulnerable. And people think that that's also a very bad thing now. And that is a great way to put it, especially like I think a lot of the aspects that you were putting in was what you would say. I would think would be advice for people that are already in relationships, not to start off, like not to kind of like the dating pool. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like that would ring more if like, well, baby, what do you think? Like, do you want to do this, or do you want to, like, you find some negotiations?
You gotta talk.
Yes, yes. But I feel like that would work out more in a relationship already, not in the beginning stages.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, like I feel like everybody has their own idea of what masculinity is. So like girl A could be like, oh, you're sensitive, like, oh, like, wow, you're really showing like how much of a man you are, you know? Or like girl B could be like, oh, like you're weak, like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And it's just everyone has their own example or definition.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I don't think there's a wrong answer for like what it is to be masculine, you know?
People are trying to put a wrong answer on it.
People are, yeah.
And
there shouldn't be.
No, and there shouldn't. But I feel like when it comes to dating today, I don't know. Like, I don't know if, because this is more for the young bucks. Because I feel like for them, they're
The youngins.
the youngins, man. I feel like the
Young
youngins,
folk.
they would change.
They will, yeah.
For us, I don't know if it's just because we're already kind of like set in our ways, and we feel like it's like
It's weird because like it's very weird because the younger generation. So I think we're all three millennials, I believe, right? What year were you born?
I think I was 96.
Yeah, we're all. Well, you might be.
I feel like I'm as they said zillennial.
You're a zillennial. Like you're millennial. Let's just face it. It seems like you're
Very
more of a
old-fashioned.
millennial, honestly.
You're our age.
And so Gen Z and millennial, it's very weird. Gen Z is very weird because Gen Z does have that very masculine men that are like very much like similar to us and like the way that we grew up and like the way that we look at relationships, but almost even further masculine. Like
Oh, you
it's
think so?
weird, but it's like half and half. It's like 50-50. It's like some of the men that are Gen Z are like further, like more like I'm a man, you know, and the other half are even further more feminine. And it's like a weird branch between the two, and I think that's why Gen Z women specifically, or even millennial women that might date a guy that's younger, have so many troubles with finding the perfect middle ground, because it's almost like leaning far towards masculine or leaning far towards like more feminine with men and Gen Z specifically. Millennials, like we're kind of in like also kind of a weird area, but that's what I think's going on. That's why I think so many
it's
younger
cool.
women might have troubles.
100%. And it's cool to bring up a perspective because the last podcast, not the one previous, but the girls I had on, they were just kind of talking about what their perspective was. There's going to be a panel where I'm going to have where it's just going to be like guys and girls. See what we both would end up kind of saying, kind of like what would end up happening. But I love talking about this because it's like something that I don't know what side to fight on, but it's just kind of like, logically, I think
There's no right or wrong.
there's no right or wrong, and it's just kind of like you're just trying to nod your head and say, oh, that makes sense, and just trying to make it make sense for your perspective, for trying to make it make sense for your relationship. And it's tough for a lot of guys right now. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a millennial or Gen Z, or it's just like either I don't know, like people. There's this new word simp that kind of gets thrown around too, so that's why it's like I don't know what's your take on that?
I hate that word.
See, like I don't know what
like,
to say to that. Like I'm like, it's
So
just
what?
a word.
You're attracted
too.
to a girl, you're a simp, I guess.
See, and that's the thing. Like it kind of like fucks up guys' perspective on it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't no simp, but no. In all real talks, it's. I don't like. We have all these new words we have nowadays, and it's like, oh, are you masculine? Are you feminine? We shouldn't have labels. Like, I think as long as you kind of like stay true to yourself and you're confident, you're living your best self. Like, that's all that matters. Like,
what's kind of weird is that when you might first look at me and Jack as a person, and like I said, we've known each other for about 10 years now, and what I've come to pick up on is not all the time, but on most circumstances when it comes to relationships between like me dating women and Jack dating women, is that Jack might actually be more masculine than me. And when you first see us, you might think the opposite, because I'm like a bigger guy, and like I might look more like I might
He tells
like,
you what to do.
I might be like more like the like bro, like I might be like more like the.
There are circumstances.
You know what I mean?
That. But do you think that's why it works out?
I don't know. I don't know if
Dude,
it's like
11
just how
years of a
can
friendship.
you explain how
like, okay, when it not talking about
No,
like.
I'm not upset. I'm just
Okay, here's
explain
let me
how
just
I'm
elaborate on
controlled?
this. It's not like when you first meet us. It's not like you're like, oh, Mitch is much more feminine than Jack. But I think it's when I observe. I think it's much more like when I observe like Jack in a relationship versus me in a relationship.
Yeah.
Jack is much more like the pants in the relationship.
Wow.
I'm much more of like the even middle ground kind of like, oh baby, I'll do whatever you like, whatever you're like, whatever pleases, whatever to make you happy. And like, not to say Jack doesn't also do that, but I'm just saying like. Jack's much more like he's much more of a guy that wants to have like
I feel like that's even,
what do I want.
you want like a grip on the relationship a little more than I do.
Yeah. So you're looking for a more stronger woman, is what you're saying.
I like a strong, independent woman.
I do too, man. I do too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, like I need a girl who's got her shit together, who's got her life together. She knows what she wants. That's what I go for. But at the same time, it's like I know what I want. I know what's gonna benefit me, what's gonna work, what's not gonna work.
You know yourself to the point where you're like, either you want this or you want nothing at all.
I'm like, it's just like if it's not working out, like.
So you agree with
you're
me,
done.
right?
Yeah,
You agree with me in a way.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
I do,
Like
I
the
do.
way that you're explaining it right there is kind of like what a guy would like a stereotypical like bye.
No, like
Alright.
I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but like.
But you are an asshole.
An ass.
I'm not an asshole. Huh? I'm a little. No, I just.
Nah, it's fine.
If it's not going well, if you're not bringing anything that benefits me, why do I have you? You know, like.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And it's not like I'm over here, being a dick to everybody. It's just like if it's not working out, I know what I want, and on to the next one.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And, like, are you the same way? Or
Well, I think the more I knew myself, the more I started realizing like I know myself and I know what I like, what I want. Cheers it, man. Now.
Cheers.
Cheers it. With your water.
Johnny's
over
hospitality is amazing, by the way.
That Texas hospitality is
there. Yeah, the Southern hospitality never really gets old.
good old Southern boy.
Southern. Texas.
So which way did you say you lean more?
I think I'm. Okay, so this is a new thing, and we'll get on this too. Is this whole idea of like zodiac signs and shit like that? Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm a Libra. So, and the more I kind of like, I started identifying myself as that. I hated saying it, but the more I'm like, hey, I just want to keep peace, but at the same time, I know myself to say like, yeah, I know exactly what I want.
I guess I'll add on after Mitch says something.
And with that being said, it's tough because that doesn't subjectively mean that you go for a specific type. That just means that you find characteristics in people that you're like, oh my god, that is very attractive.
I 100%.
And so, yeah, it varies all the time. Like I don't date like one person, like one specific type. Like I don't date like just white girls. I am very attracted to white girls, but like, but what I'm saying is, it's just the characteristics of somebody. It's like the mental state of somebody. It's like, wow, they're very driven.
So you're like in between both.
Yes.
Yeah.
And hence the reason why I say Libra, because that's a very in between thing.
I don't know much about astrology, but I want to ask both of you.
Dude, that's it's a religion for all the young people, man.
Yeah, well, Gen Z loves astrology for sure.
They love astrology.
What do you guys think about astrology?
Yeah. So
that's a deep one.
All right, I'm glad you asked that.
Let's start off with the signs. What are you?
Oh, I'm a Leo.
That's why I love you. That's great.
What are you?
Sagittarius.
That's why I love you too. I love fire signs, man. Fire signs are great.
Yeah. So I never was really into like astrology or zodiac signs. I was like, oh, I'm a Leo. Cool. I was born in August. Yeah.
That's the way you see it.
Yeah. And then, I started dating girls who were like really into that stuff, and they kind of got me hooked onto it. They told me like all about myself, and I started doing my own research.
Not all about you, all about what a Leo is.
Yeah. And
which is you.
Yeah. And I started doing my own research to it, and I'm like, that is me. Mm-hmm. Like, that is me 100%.
Yeah.
And, like, I know what I like as a Leo, and so now when I'm dating people, I'm like, okay, I want a girl who has those Leo qualities.
Wow. So you want a Leo. You want a fire sign.
I do in a perfect world, but I've dated girls who are, like, other signs, and it's worked out great.
You need a Danny to your Leo. That's
a little inside joke.
I don't know, but it seems like it's funny.
Love to be a part of one someday. But yeah, I just kind of look for a girl who has got kind of like the same qualities as I do, Not just zodiac signs, but
It's a way to kind of I guess make it easier for dating. Just to say like what I think about zodiac signs and stuff like that. I think it hit me fairly young just because I don't know. I like the spirituality side of shit, and I felt like that was a good spiritual thing to kind of like. This is why I like these people. This is why I don't like these fucking people. What the hell's the matter with these people? Like, and maybe it's just a good way to just kind of like get to know somebody without getting to know somebody. And that's a lot of people do that. Like, they will literally religiously would not. They're like, "What's your sign?" "Oh, you're a Get out of my
I
sight.
can't talk to you.
I can't talk to you.
I hate
So
that.
that's my next question. Is there a sign you guys like stray away
shit.
from? I mean, we're all like getting up there in age. Like,
Yeah,
we're
we're getting
men.
very like
do
picky.
you guys know a sign that you guys stray away from?
Bro,
Like,
okay.
Taurus.
I feel like that was genuine.
Very genuine.
I don't know.
There's
I've-
one
I've
Taurus
been
out
a lot
there.
of Tauruses out there.
There's one Taurus out there.
No, they're hey, you dated.
Man, so have y'all done y'all's birth chart stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Like, what do you mean by that?
okay, well, one girl mentioned co-star to me. I think
Yeah,
or is
I've done that.
co-star, and I had to do it. I guess she's like, you should do it. I need to know what. I was like, why do you need to know? Like, we're getting along really well, and I was like, fuck, all right, I'll do it. So I did it, and I can't kind of like distribute like who I'm gonna be attracted to based on this because I don't know, man. Maybe you're just like if you're just asking just to like hook up, maybe that's a whole different answer than if you're gonna be in a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, if I want to be in an ideal relationship with somebody, I know people hate Geminis. I think I will fall for like a Gemini, definitely.
It's like any relationship can hook up, or any sign can hook up, but not any sign can be in a relationship together.
Right.
You know.
So if I had to pick one, dude, I think I have to be like Capricorn. Why is it always Earth signs?
Why is it a Capricorn for you?
Huh?
Why is it a Capricorn for you?
I don't find them like. Who knows? Maybe I'm gonna end up with the Capricorn just because I said
I
it.
don't know
Now
much
I put
about
it out
Capricorn.
there.
I don't know much about many signs. There's only a few signs.
I only know about my sign.
I mean, okay,
Well, I know
so
a few about.
I don't know. It's just like because of like I don't know. Maybe so. Earth ones are very stubborn ones. They very stick to their ways, and because of that, that kind of like hinders me from trying out new things. Mm-hmm. And the way I think about it, I've met some that are stubborn enough, but they keep me grounded. Like that's why I can keep them as friends, like really good friends, because they call me my shit all the time. And I'm like, all right, I need to like stay grounded. So, but to be in a relationship, maybe that's what I need. So maybe I don't know. Like I'm right now. I'm saying Capricorn.
Okay.
Are we Gen Z talking about all these signs here?
Maybe, man. Like like I said, I'm y'all's path to the Z's right now with the zillennial shit. You didn't answer yours. So.
I don't specifically. No, I don't think
You can't
that.
question us and then not give us an answer.
I know. I'm sorry. I said you.
Now you're gonna have to make some enemies.
I know.
Who are the enemies that you're gonna choose, Mitch?
I don't know. Like I can't say it, but I I just know there's specific signs, some that are more sensitive than others.
Oh yeah, like
and
what?
I like maybe a Cancer. But not all cancers, just some, the first Cancer I met, and honestly, if this person's listening to the podcast, I'm not talking about you, but
Definitely not talking about
but the
you,
person I am talking about would probably never listen to this podcast, so I can say it. So the Cancer that I first met definitely first judged me and was like, "Oh, you're a Sagittarius." Like,
oh, and you remember that to this day.
And she was like, "Well, I guess we could be friends, like, I guess." And I was like.
And that tore you apart.
I was like, okay.
so
And but it's funny. If she ever does watch it, she's a good friend of mine. But if she ever does listen to this, one thing that she said that I think is hilarious is she was like, "It's not my fault. Take it up with the moon."
Oh my!
Just take it up with the moon.
Dude,
like,
Jesus.
what? What does that mean?
Is she Gen Z?
No, she's our age. But
Wow. So it's stretching you into our age now.
But yeah, no, like I don't really I don't think it matters too much, but I do believe in like some supernatural stuff, especially with like the moon. I mean, there's been a lot of days in my life that I've lived through like 30 full moons. I don't know, 20 full moons. I don't know how many full moons we get a year. Like 2.
I don't know, man.
We get like 2 full moons a year.
We had a blue moon.
Maybe more than that.
Yeah, 3 full moons a year.
Or maybe.
Yeah, so I've probably lived through like 30 full moons. I don't know. And every time, like probably a good 10 out of the 30 full moons that I've lived out of have been weird, just weird days. And you're like, why is it so weird? Or like I'm pretty sure I got in a car crash on a full moon day. Like weird stuff happens.
I don't know, man. Mercury was probably in retrograde or something.
Yeah, like, but I don't know. I don't know enough about this. I did find myself on Witch Talk, which is TikTok, but for like witches.
A dating app for witches?
No, Witch
Because
Talk.
witches is a thing.
Jack doesn't like
Reality.
TikTok very much. He hates on a low key.
But you're on TikTok. I've seen you on there.
I've made my fair share of videos, but it's not my thing. But hey, back to the zodiac signs.
Yes.
I've met several people who like I just click with, and everything's great. We have the same sense of humor, same like confidence, and then we share our zodiac signs, and we're both Leos, and I'm like, holy shit, that's why we're clicking so well. And
But then,
yeah, and they,
I feel like there's a butt coming, so this is why I'm just kind of speculating.
there's not a butt, but
Oh, there's not a butt.
no, it's my butt.
What is in these drinks? This apple juice and some water is getting to it.
No, but seriously.
But seriously,
But I lost where I was going with this. Yeah, it's just I feel like zodiac signs. Like if you find someone with the same sign, like
Yes.
you're gonna click pretty well. I don't know what it is about it exactly, but there's just that little thing there.
I agree. And so this is why I say like Gemini's, because in fire signs it's just like there's already like a, I don't know, and what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say I don't know if y'all have heard of that. Not the four squares. It's this psychology figuring out what your personality is, like a personality test.
Mm-hmm.
This one is supposedly very accurate, to more accurate than the zodiac sign one.
Yeah,
but it's just like stuff like that I feel like a lot of people want. They hate the fact that the stars are already written for them. Okay. But yeah, does that make fucking sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, people are
It's
like,
written in the stars.
yeah, people are like, no, I'm independent. I rewrite my own stars, and then I'm like, no. Sometimes you like the stars. If they're in your fucking favor, you're gonna like the path that you're on, and that's a hard truth to fucking have. But it's like, yeah, it's a kind of like an in between thing. But I feel like that's what people do with zodiac signs a lot. Is that they kind of like they like the good, but then they know the bad, and they're like, I hate it now at that point. But it stretches even to like what I'm saying, that personality test, or Gryffindor is king, and like you can go off of like Harry Potter mythology at that point.
I know. I'm a type 7. I know that.
See, I don't know. I have never
know my
taken
type
that
either.
test.
I'm a type 7, a little bit of a 6. I have some of my best friends are 7s. I do have a really good friend that's a 6. Jack, you might be like I'm.
What do you think I am? Because I kind of want to know.
I don't remember. I just remember 6 and 7, just because those were the
dare
two
you.
that like I was like mostly connected with. I think I have like they do it by like percentage. It's like
Yes.
75. So I'm like 75% type 7, and then like
because you have all of them, but you're
yeah, 7 is very. You guys would definitely both have a little bit of type 7. You guys also might have a little bit of type 6, and I think there was like a 2 that is kind of, I bet, I can't remember exactly, so I'm not going to really go into it, but you guys would definitely probably have both of those, the 6 and 7. 6s is more like concentrating on like success in your own personal life.
Oh, okay.
7 is more like adventurous, so that's why I said I think both of you probably both have 6s and 7s. I'm mostly like I said, like I don't know, 65 to 70% 7, so I'm very much a 7, like very go with the flow and that type of stuff.
It's a very Sagittarius thing for you to say.
Thank you. But going away from, and you're going to hate me for saying this, but I just want to
Sure.
bring this up because it's kind of an interesting story.
I already hate you.
I know you're going to hate me for saying this because every podcast every podcast on the Slices Life, or sorry, I had too many. This White Claw is messing me up. The Slice of Life podcast this is the 3rd episode I've been on. I always try to bring up ghosts.
I don't hate you for saying that.
And so I always try to bring up ghosts, and me and Jack have a very interesting story where we went to Boston, Massachusetts about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and we hunted for ghosts. And Jack before this did not believe in the paranormal, but we did have a few weird weird nights in Boston, if we want to tell this story. But
Yeah, to kind of base off that, I got a little joke to tell about ghosts. It's a knock-knock joke. Well, it's not really a knock-knock joke. But what kind of beat?
Knock, knock.
I can't say it. What did ghosts put in their bras?
I don't know. What are they?
Boobies.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, that was a horrible joke.
Yeah,
but
you're never gonna be.
I'm canceled. No, so me and Mitch, we went to Boston. What was it? Last summer?
it was for your birthday last year. So
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
2 years ago, I guess. Because it wasn't just past.
It wasn't this summer, but it was. Yeah, it was summer of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went to Boston, and I wasn't spiritual at all, really. I didn't believe in ghosts, and I was like, all right, I'll go, and it'll be a fun time, but I don't think we're gonna see or hear anything. And
I think so.
that's what I thought at the time. And then we stay at the oldest hotel, right? In Omni Parker House in Boston. And as soon as we walk in, I get Tower of Terror feels, like I'm like, oh, I'm checking into this old lobby. There's cobwebs everywhere. It's like, it looks like it's.
wasn't cobwebs, but
I saw a few cobwebs. It was a very nice hotel. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But it was like straight from the 30s, right?
Like the 20s.
Or the 20s, yeah.
Oldest hotels, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then there was like the first night we stayed there. We were out doing stuff all night. We get back at probably like 2, 3 in the morning.
A little bit inebriated.
3
I wouldn't
o'clock
say
is
that.
no,
I was
like,
off half a cup of Earl Grey, but we go see we see some ghosts. Or we didn't see some ghosts. We heard some ghosts. We get back to the hotel. And we're walking, like we're going taking the elevator. We're going down some hallways. We're vlogging.
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
We're hunting for ghosts.
I haven't
And-
seen this on your vlog, so it's,
They're
Johnny, come on.
I mean, I'm just saying, I want to see it.
Yeah,
you know?
they're very old.
Beardless guys right now.
Well, I had a beard.
Oh, you had beards?
It was last year.
Okay.
So we go there and we start just hearing all this eerie sounds, like someone's following us. Why is this? What else did you see?
There was, you probably remember this. There was this specific moment where I don't remember if it was the first night or the second night there. The first night was a little bit. Jack was like, "Oh, well, I don't know." Like I said, we had a few cocktails or whatever, and we get back to the hotel, and it was like kind of a questionable thing. Like, I don't know if this is paranormal or we're just like a little inebriated or whatnot. And then the second night, though, I do remember. You remember the phone?
Yes.
So it was like 2 a.m. and this is an old hotel, and they have like landlines in the hotel. And just randomly throughout the night, they kept ringing. And like we would be like walking down the hallway, and they would ring, and then we would turn the corner, and then they would stop ringing, right? And then we got to this point where we were like trying like an EVP session, which is like a session where you like listen to like voice recordings for like any type of paranormal activity.
Okay.
And we heard a growl. Do you remember that? Yeah. We heard like in the stairwell, there was like, it was like I said, 2 a.m. No one was on this floor, and we just heard this like a growl from the stairwell.
How?
Rawr, like that. It's like it specifically it specifically was like, rawr, I'm gonna get you, Jack. No, just kidding. No, but yeah, and I just remember after that night, Jack was like, I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know what I heard, but like that was weird.
He's like, let me chime in.
Yeah. You're bringing back flashbacks. Yeah. So we're at this hotel, and I'm pretty sure at the time they kind of had a low occupancy already, and we were alone in the hotel. There was nobody ever in the lobby, like even in the middle of the day. It was very quiet, and it was 2 a.m. We're walking down all the hallways, just exploring all these nooks and crannies, and I feel like someone's following me, and it's not this guy over here. It's a ghost. Like something is coming over, like is just right behind me, and I'm like, whoa. And I just start feeling wind on my neck, just kind of just weird noises. No, like I can tell nobody's out and about. I hear weird noises coming from a bathroom. I hear like all these phones ringing, and I'm like, okay, something is definitely going on here. Fishy. Yeah. And long story short, like I kind of believe in ghosts now. I don't know. Like there's just like an eerie presence there, And yeah,
We met a gypsy in Salem, Massachusetts, actually.
God, that's
I feel like Salem is such a hot spot for people to go visit now.
Yeah.
It's just,
Fun, dude.
I
If
bet.
you haven't been there, it's
No, never
fun.
been.
Adam, all of our mutual friends, Adam, he's from Massachusetts, and he loves it. And I would, after going there, I would consider moving there. It's like
it's Halloween time.
Massachusetts is a beautiful state. If anybody's ever been there, shout out to Mass.
Cold as fuck. But
Pretty cold, yeah. It's right on the coast.
Summer was
though.
great.
Summer was beautiful, and we went there for Jack's birthday. And we ran into a gypsy, some lady that literally told us she was a gypsy, and she said something about free love, it's just weird gypsy lingo.
Gypsy
and,
lingo, yeah. Whatever
it
they
was funny,
say.
but yeah, that trip was fun.
do you feel like you would have to experience you anybody that is anybody would they automatically believe in ghosts that they've already told, or they have to experience it?
Yeah, that you definitely have to experience it, because I've heard ghost stories all my life.
And you're like, this is bullshit.
I'm like, okay, like I've been to rumored haunted places, and I was, I walked in there for like 2-3 minutes, and I'm like, this is normal. This is just an old house. And then you have these experiences like I did at the Omni Parker house, and I'm like, okay, there's definitely something supernatural going on.
It was weird. It was weird.
See, I think maybe from a younger perspective, because my old elementary school was a hospital.
Okay.
Very.
That's kind of eerie.
Very, very right. It was like a Confederate, because living in Texas. Yeah. It was a Confederate sort of thing, and then whenever smallpox, or I don't know what was
Smallpox. Smallpox. Yeah.
Well, that was a big thing in the 1920s. That's where they had a lot of patients, and then our classroom was in the basement.
Oh my God.
Fucking insane, right, man?
Yeah.
Irving Elementary School. It was fucking insane, but it was always creepy to just fucking walk by yourself. Every time the office was upstairs, so the only time I ever experienced something like that was I heard a laughter, and very faint laughter that I was thinking that it can't be it has to be a kid, because this is an elementary school.
Yeah.
I was in tutoring, or I had to be in tutoring, because Spanish was my first language, and after school there was nobody else, so I literally ran up the stairs as fast as I could, and I was just like, this is insane, I don't like this. And it came from the cafeteria, and the cafeteria was connected to the basement. You just had to take it upstairs to it, so everybody had to always go through the basement and then go to the cafeteria. Insane. I literally, it was like a faint kid laugh, and
that's so
there was
creepy.
nobody there.
That's so creepy.
At that point I was just like, paranormal activity, fucking ghost hunters was my life all throughout middle school.
Yeah. Same
and
here.
it's probably the most bullshit thing maybe for some people, but for other people it's like, all right, let me see what they have to do. But I don't know, I feel like the television version of how people see ghosts is probably somewhat different than how we
100%.
You know what I mean? I feel like they're just trying to upsell it, or make it more feasible or televised for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you brought up a great point. It's almost like you are always on the brim of believing in ghosts until you actually experience it, and then you have that weird sensation where you're like, that was not normal. And so you grew up in a Hispanic community, right?
Yep.
So
Hispanic and black community. It was very mixed in, but it was like the hood.
So I definitely respect the Hispanic look on life after death, because you guys have more of a positive look on it. And
one aspect of it, the most popularized version of it.
Well, tell me more about that. How is that
It just depends on where, because Dia de los Muertos, and I think that's what you're assuming of.
Yeah.
It's very popularized in the southern part of Mexico. Now because of Coco and because of all this, it's very popularized all around Mexico. And per se, Hispanics here in the United States, they don't celebrate it as much. They don't.
Really?
Yeah, they don't celebrate it as
Really?
much. Yep. You would have to be very ingrained in the Aztec-y Mayan side of the Mexican culture to actually understand it, and that is all in the South. once you get more to the north, man, it's very popular. Once you hit Mexico City up, it's all. And this is where it gets very unique. It's because this is why I love Mexican culture. It's because they are so. You have somebody from your color, or lighter, like albino looking, all the way to Afro Latin can be a Mexican.
Yeah.
All the way
to
to
huge, diverse,
huge, man. And it even goes from like Chinese to like anybody from anybody. Like if someone can look Korean or Asian looking, they would be Mexican. And this is why I respect it so much, is because there are so many different nations that took over Mexico, or like even after, like I just realized this, that after like World War One, so many like Arabian or Lebanese type of were seeking asylum after World War One. They came to northern Mexico, and hence I think I might be somewhere in the Arabian side of like my hair curly, like I have a little bit lighter complexion, maybe.
I could definitely see it.
And it made me think. I was like, wow, that's insane. And it made me think, okay, so you have all these different cultures coming in. It's somewhere around there, this isn't going to stick. And that is more Mayan based than it is Mexican, because once it was colonized, Catholicism took over. And once Catholicism took over, the Day of the Dead was seen as more taboo. Wow. And it was insane, bro. And but
I'm learning so much.
Yeah, for real.
And so once Coco came around, like that kind of like blossomed this whole side of history that hasn't been seen from Mexico in a long time.
Wow.
But don't get me wrong, dude. In Mexico, they celebrate it a lot. Like and I'm just saying, in like Texas and all around the United States, it's not celebrated as much.
How far back in?
You don't know. You don't know. You can only base it off of like the complexion of your skin.
Really?
Yes. Until you actually take a test to kind of like differentiate it. But there's some things that I think from my mom's side, she's more on the kind of whiter complexion than my dad's side of this. And my dad grew up around the side of where there was a lot more. It was more street like. My grandpa was a cop, and he would kind of like be the leeway for all of the cool kids, because they're just like, kids, y'all can get this.
Wait, a cop here in America?
Yeah. Oh no, in Mexico.
Oh, in Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And my mom's side, she was more the rich side. She was the popis, the higher end. Like, so it's like my dad was the more rugged type, my mom was the more higher end type, and they both kind of like. But that's also the difference in complexions.
That is fascinating.
Very fascinating.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah, and it's very. I love my parents' story, but it's just like. It's just hard to kind of like pinpoint if this is why I'm also speculating why I think my dad's side might be more Arabic than my mom's side, but I don't know because once you get to the southern parts of Mexico, like central southern, that's all white people, bro, like all white Mexicans, like those are all like Hispanic Spaniards that came like from Spain.
So European.
Yeah. When you go more south, you go to South America, bro. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
White, like Argentina, all Chile.
And then look at like if you're from like Dominican Republic, like you're completely.
That was more in the slave bound, bro. Like you that was more like the slave trade thing was more along the Caribbean side.
Oh, okay.
You would see a lot more Afro-Latin people in the islands more, just because of that reason alone. That doesn't mean that there's not Afro-Latins in Mexico. That just means that they were more based in Dominican Republic and Haiti and Puerto Rico and Cuba.
Did I respect how much you know about your heritage, man?
Dude,
like that
bro,
is insane, man.
Bro,
I didn't.
It's just, and this is what kind of draws like me to kind of be a traditionalist a little bit, is because people get fascinated of their background. Like you who knows, maybe you're like Scottish or Viking or like, it doesn't matter, but you look more deeper into your roots and you're like, wow, I'm kind of proud to be that.
Yeah.
You know, and to kind of like hinder that and to kind of like wash it away is, I don't know if it's a disrespectful thing, but it's just like, I'm just glad that there's some cultures that still find it deep to be like, man, I'm proud to be this, you know?
What would you think Jack's heritage is, if you had to say?
Just by, he did tell me, so I can't, he told me he was
did
French.
say something, yeah.
Yeah, and
French.
Yeah.
Most people say like Spanish.
Like something, but
You think I look Spanish a little bit?
It's probably, it can get there,
Like
because
more like Spaniard.
That's what
Somebody
I'm
in your
saying.
family messed around with somebody from
Somewhere,
Spain.
dude, 100%. Dude, I feel like the curly hair, I feel like that was like all French and Spaniard stuff. You know what I mean? Like you go to like the Norway and like Scandinavian, that's all blonde hair.
France and Spain are very close.
I've like.
I mean, yeah, true.
I've had a lot of jobs, especially my job right now, like at Disney, like any job in Orlando. Like people just assume I speak Spanish, and I'm like, guys.
Dude, I get Puerto Rican a lot. I don't know that. Maybe that's still thing, but like you're not wrong. Like I thought you were Hispanic whenever I first
really.
met you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I was like, and you told me you were French. I was like, oh, come on, talk about it too. Like I even like I know. I was like, dang, he doesn't know shit. Never mind,
No,
kidding.
I've been called a conquistador.
Not French at all, but for all you women out there, men are
cut
assholes.
that out. So I don't really know too much about my
Lineage.
Yeah, my lineage.
But see, you like saying that you're French, though.
Yeah, I mean,
first time I ever met you.
Back off the mic.
He's like, wait, hold on, he's still talking
Like,
about France.
I'm-
He's like, we'll get to where you were from, bro.
No, I'm definitely very French. I got a lot of German in me, Dutch. That's in there too.
You're a mutt.
I'm a mutt. Yeah.
Still, dude, I still think that's a very fascinating thing. That
Yeah.
I feel like you should dive deep, like just to learn about who you are. You know.
Yeah, but that's really the top three that I'm.
I mean, I feel like
Part of-
Jaqua is a very.
Jaqua is a very French name. Yeah. Jaqua.
Jacques.
Jaqua.
They call me Jacques.
When I was taking French, they were like, he's like, you can pick your French name. I was like, okay, Jerome. Like,
Jerome?
Yeah, so Jerome. I remember that, dude. I was like, Mrs. Jerome.
Gotta pick a French name.
Really?
I took French.
You took French too?
Yeah, I never gotta pick a French name.
What's like the French name of Mitch? Michel.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it'd be Michael, but it'd be like around that.
I asked my
like,
teacher. He just said like
Mitchell.
Mitch. Like you could just
Yeah.
go by Mitch.
Mitch.
Like yeah.
United States was like, no, I want to annex Texas, and then they kept going all the way to Manifest Destiny, all the way to California. They took all over all that stuff, but that didn't mean that like the natives all the way from Mexico were the same as the natives in New Mexico or onward.
So that you bring up a good point because I have heard like I don't want to say conspiracy, but like a debate about like history, and a lot of people say that like. So I always get confused. Is it the Mayans or Aztecs in Mexico?
Both.
Both? Okay.
Incas
So-
are the very south.
So they always say like no one knows like exactly where the Aztecs went. They say one of the popular theories of modern like anthropology is that they think the Aztecs either had like horrible floods or droughts or like food shortage, like famine, and they just traveled to North America and they became the Native Americans.
So
Like that was like a popular like thing of what they were saying might have happened to the Aztec people.
Spanish flu, one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
90% of the indigenous population that was here. Don't quote me on that, especially because I'm just kind of reading a lot of this stuff, and I could be very wrong. But that's also the thing that literally would wipe out everybody, man. Literally everybody. And it is tough because the Mayans were definitely the older of the two, but they were the more smarter, if that per se.
Mayans are still around, apparently.
Yes, yeah, dude. There's so many different dialects of like that of like the way that they speak is that they even use it into like lure even today. Like I was reading that are like Argonians, like from Elder Scrolls, are more along the lines of the Aztecs and the Mayans, just by the way that they Mictlan, the way that they use the kla and all that stuff, and they reference a lot of stuff in that. It's so unique, man. But
That's
Elder Scrolls, my lore, like I love talking Elder Scrolls. That's why I was like, this is fucking insane. I love the Argonians.
Hey.
In North, it was so insane, man. There was like so much blood and torture, especially because, dude, Native Americans get the worst shit.
Oh, yeah.
out of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Not just like the Spanish side, but like the English side. You think about all this stuff that they went through, like. Not saying that y'all colonizers as fuck, but like, yeah, dude, they went through a lot of shit, bro.
did,
like, and
they
that's
did,
that's so heartbreaking sometimes that
It
even
really
just
is,
fathom.
yeah.
But I don't know, man. People hate like the idea of colonizing and stuff like that. I'm like, look, I wouldn't be who I am today.
None of us
Without
would be
it.
here if it wasn't
Fucking
for
exactly.
colonizers.
So
colonizers.
I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying, like, I know there's gonna be people out there that's gonna be like, This is bad. And I'm like, maybe. Could be.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, Jack? I feel like you have something to say.
No, I don't have anything to say about that. I'm just kind of listening. Yeah, I agree with you.
You know where I'm from?
Where are you from? Like, we didn't even speculate that. It was like,
I'm just listening. I'm here for the ride.
I'm one of the most the widest you could get. Like I'm 75% English and like the rest is German.
do you know a lot about the English culture, man? Like, this is why I like Peaky Blinders a lot. But
I love Peaky
Blinders.
Blinders. You don't want to.
Dude, I know. When you
don't want to get into it with
Bro,
Peaky Blinders with me, but
I love Dapper Day, and I would dress up that way. Like, I just love the style so much about that, dude. But keep going.
But yeah, my lineage is, I don't want to say boring, but it's
fucking
it's
boring.
what you would expect a white person to, like, oh, you came from the Mayflower. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my last name's May. Like, come on. Like, Mitchell May came from the Mayflower. Like God forbid. But anyways, no, but a very interesting thing about my family lineage in particular is that I had family members living in Indiana before Indiana was a state.
Right.
So that's like basically where we settled. We came from England, settled in New York for a few years, maybe like 10, 20 years, and then went straight to Indiana. And that's where we've been ever since, which is very weird. That's
very
insane.
weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's like, I guess we're just Hoosiers like from the core, you know?
I guess, man. I don't know a lot about English culture as much as like Netflix throws it out to be.
Yeah, England's a wild place. I mean, because like you, for a long time in European history, you had the Romans, which took over. I mean, well, I guess you could even go back to before the Roman Empire, you had the Greeks. Before that, you even had like Genghis Khan, like basically owning half the world, and then kind of he faded out, and then the Greeks became popular, and then the Greeks basically turned into the Romans. The Romans took over, and then basically the Romans slowly turned into the United Kingdom, like Britain, and then the British
took over a lot.
Yeah, well, the Roman Empire fell, and then then you get into like Istanbul and like all these things, and then like basically, and then the UK kind of started rising, and then that's when the UK took over half the world, and then the rest is history. Yeah, and then the rest is history. But yeah, that's my history is kind of boring, I guess you would say. It's just I'm the kid from UK a long time ago.
Let me ask.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this, especially like the more that I think the information age, and this is the information age, is I feel like we have a lot more information than like ever before, ever since the blossom of technology ever came up in the 90s. Dude, you think back about like all these different eras and decades like of war and everything that was have been going on. Could you ever think that you would live in a different era?
100%.
What era? What decade?
The 1920s.
The 1920s.
Peaky Blinders.
That's the era you think that you would fit in.
100% I'll thrive.
I honestly, yeah, you would. I mean, I'm not gonna
I could see that. I would definitely thrive in the Greek times.
The Greek times?
Yeah.
Dang, that's far back, but shit. Like,
Dude,
okay.
I mean,
Why?
it's
Yeah,
just,
I was like...
being fed, like sitting in a big chair, being
that's such
fed
a
by
French thing,
grapes.
I feel like.
What a life. Like, just always partying. No, I'm not a partier. But just always just having a good time. I loved the whole history of, like, the Greek history, the Greek mythology. Right. And I think it'd be a fun time to live in.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. I think about, like, the Renaissance and shit, like, the how that blossomed, the Great Awakening, and, like, the ideas of like church and science always battling against each other and stuff like that. And then you think of like battle. Do you ever think that we'll get into like another like that's like
I don't know about this next coming year.
Why?
I was like, why?
I just
Civil War maybe.
Just all the stuff going on right now. I just feel like maybe something might go on again, but hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I'm hoping it's not. But
would you fight?
I don't think you have an option, right? It's like what,
of course
20?
I'd fight for my country. Like if
what,
the war
26,
was,
if you get
I'm
drafted?
26. Yeah.
Well, like what's the age? Is it like 26?
Yeah, about like 27 is the cutoff. Like
it's the cutoff.
25 was the cutoff.
Maybe 25.
It's like 18 to 25.
I don't know.
We haven't had to worry about that since Vietnam, but
yeah,
since Nam.
But yeah, I mean, of course, if a fight came here and I was eligible, yeah.
Did you just hear that?
I heard it.
Was that a hyena outside?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. It sounded like a cackle or like
talking about witches and ghosts.
Yeah,
it's something like that.
It's a spirit. I don't know. I would like to be optimistic and think that nothing like that would ever happen. But obviously, warfare nowadays would be completely different than we think of. I don't think bullets would be shot. I mean, maybe like small, like small little conflicts like that might happen. But for the most part, it would be computer viruses.
I feel like
it would be
like technology.
It would be computer viruses. It would be like blackmail. It'd be like I mean, if worse came to worse, like atomic bombs. But I think most of it, obviously, chemical warfare. So like coronavirus or like something similar. Like they would just be like, screw you, America, and they just like have some Spanish flu again. Like, and they just like just. But it wouldn't be Spanish flu. It would be like something we've never heard of, like COVID-25 or something like that. And they would be like, if the Russians wanted to harm us, they would just send a chemical warfare. But I don't think it's going to get to that. I think most of war nowadays is going to look at the Cold War. Most of war nowadays is just going to be a repeat of the Cold War. It's just going to be like, I will bomb you. No, I will bomb you. And then it's going to be like, no one's going to bomb anyone.
You don't think with technology, I think with going like into AI and stuff like that, you don't think it would be different?
Robots fighting robots?
Well, I'm just saying like AI. Maybe I'm going off of the simulation thing now, but this is why I'm like the simulation thing, I think a lot of people think it's more prone to happen than what now, more than ever. But just because I think the idea of like, not karma, what am I thinking of deja vu and all this other stuff that like have to do with getting out of this realm and then going into something else kind of falls into ideas of that there is maybe a sort of fixed simulation thing that we're in.
What do you think, Jack?
What do you think, Jack? You're like, this is too much for me.
No, it's
It's a little noggin.
It's okay, man. It's not for everybody.
No,
but what do you think?
We're talking about heavy stuff right now. I don't think we're in a simulation.
You don't think so?
Not at
You think we're all reality?
I think it's all reality. It's whatever you make it.
Do you think we were recycled?
In what way?
Like your past self was probably somebody from I don't know, what age did you say? The era that you said you would live in?
Oh, Greek?
Yeah.
I mean, see, now I'm going to like go off on a tangent talking about life after death. But I like to believe that, maybe you do get reincarnated somehow, whether it was years ago or like different times ago, or if like you become reincarnated as someone else. I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Tough, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just, these
tough question for
these topics
tough
are,
guy.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I don't know.
It's okay if you don't know. I feel like it's okay to say that.
See, Mitch is the guy to talk to about that.
Man, I know somewhere where Mitch might go, but this is why I was asking you. I don't know where you'll go.
Well,
I'm
going back.
Mitch, where do you think?
Okay, going back to like.
You got me stuttering.
I'm sorry. Going back to AI specifically, I think. Well, did you hear that? I don't remember what country came out with an artificial intelligence, but I think it was. Let's just, for conversation's sake, say it was like Japan, right? Sure. They came out with an AI, and I'm actually remembering this more. I think it was multiple countries working together to make an AI, and they created a self-aware AI, basically with a conscious. Basically, what they said was they've been doing studies with worms. So worms only have about like. I'm not a scientist, but worms only have about like 300 neurons, right, in their brain, or like 400 neurons, maybe even 1,000, right? Just put a number on it. We have like 5 trillion or something like that. We have like so many, right? So many more than worms. But since worms have so little, like worms have like 1,000, they can actually pinpoint where every single part of their emotions or like their thoughts or like their instincts come from. Since they only have 1,000 neurons, they can actually go deep into their like genetics, go deep into like why they do specific things, and they can actually pinpoint where consciousness comes from, right? So they've been playing around with this, and they actually created an AI that is self-aware, and it's like a supercomputer, which, we've been hearing about supercomputers for years. Even like the first like Apple like MacBook was considered a supercomputer. But a real Tony Stark type supercomputer has recently been created. And it started asking, apparently a few of the things that it thought about was they don't think humans should reproduce. They don't believe in God. Like all these crazy things that are very, very scary to think about. These supercomputers were like, yeah, I don't think humans should reproduce. You're evil if you have kids. That's basically what this supercomputer thought. And then it said, yeah, I don't believe in God. I don't see why you would. And then it said, I think all humans should basically just like give up, and I think AI should take over. That's basically what they started saying. So they shut down the supercomputer and like, no more. Like that's enough.
Crazy.
Are you sure you're not talking about the plot of Avengers 2?
No. Ultron.
Here goes the Leo.
No, it's not Ultron. Ultron. I mean, it's very similar to Ultron,
similar.
but I mean, what do you think? Movies just prep us for what's next. I mean, look at the Michael Bay film. Is it Michael Bay that's coming out with that new film
COVID
about
movie?
COVID, like
Yes.
25
like
or
COVID,
something?
yeah.
Something like that.
Oh my god!
Straight to streaming.
No, like my whole senior project in hospitality was talking about AI in the hospitality industry. And I did talk about how I think that eventually one day, like we're trying to, like, you know how when you go to a hotel, they have like the mobile check-in,
Yes.
mobile kiosks,
Yes.
all that stuff that's kind of eliminating employees. Like
Talking
front
about
desk-
automation.
Like automation, yeah. And it's just, we're leaning so far away from human interaction, and we're like going straight for like AI automation.
It's going
And-
to dating too, honestly.
Yeah.
Like automation. Holy
It
shit.
really is. And it's just, it really makes you question, like, okay, like, what's life going to be 20 years from now? Are we going to be run by a computer? Are we going to be run by like a giant AI droid? Like, who knows?
Dude.
It's just, it's a lot to think about. You never know.
No, don't get me wrong. I feel like we're getting so much further away. If that makes sense. Like I think like from like human interaction that I feel like it's gonna get to that point. Maybe I'm wrong, but like the social dilemma kind of cleared up a little bit of those things. And that's that little documentary that's on Netflix that kind of talks about like how much more we are we connect with one another away from it to the point where there's gonna be something where we're just gonna connect just by
Through our
like
minds.
some way.
Neurotranslate.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you probably heard the Joe Rogan, Elon Musk podcast.
Dude,
right?
I would listen to that maybe like 2 nights ago. This was
Really?
probably like fresh
Exactly.
They
on my mind.
had a
Yeah.
Black Mirror episode about that too, didn't
Which
they?
one? Who the
San Junipero.
San Junipero. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one where it's like the death where like it's like heaven or like
They
that
communicate
song like
through
heaven
death,
on earth.
and they see each other in like different
I'm
lives.
not familiar
Yeah.
with this. What? Explain it a little bit more.
It's the one that. Well, it has that song like "Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth?" Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. That I remember that now.
It's been
but
a while since I've watched that episode.
yeah, and I think what they're insinuating is that once you die, they can keep your conscience and upload it into some sort of supercomputer that is, I think. Honestly, I feel like that probably probably be like our heaven. Like that's what we think our heaven would end up being. I don't know. I like for all you religious people out there, maybe that's like that's where it's headed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you pass away and they have these neurotransmitters, and you just relive your life in, let's say, like your 20s,
Right.
just your prime.
Yeah.
And that's just their idea of like what could happen after death. Yeah.
What if they made a mistake and they think everything's all like happy-go-lucky and they're like, oh yeah, he passed away, he's in heaven now. What if in reality you wake up in this simulation and you're like just four white walls and you're just stuck in this little box and you're like, this is it for eternity? Like I'm just stuck here. Yeah, and they think they're like, oh, he's in a good place, and you're like, actually, I'm not. I'm like help. Like,
Do you think that's where it's like self-aware? Like, because I don't know, but and like that idea alone is kind of like saying you're trapped. That's why heaven is so weird to talk about because it's like. Is it perfect?
Me and so I don't know how much time we have left, but I could get on a little tangent right now about this subject.
Keep going.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll make this quick. But me and my friend Bao, we all know Bao. We talked about how there is 23andMe, where you send your DNA off to a lab, and then they tell you like your lineage, and they tell you like where you're from, like, oh, you're from this part of the country, you're from that part of the country, blah blah blah. they apparently, the big conspiracy, well, it's not even a conspiracy, it's almost real, it's like reality, is that they keep some of your DNA, right? And they freeze it like in a big freezer. And the thought of why they're doing that, and it's actually it's kind of comforting to me, I kind of want to do it, is that they freeze your DNA so that one day they could either keep you from dying by using your DNA by there's these things in your DNA called telomeres, and these telomeres are basically the age. Yeah, it's like, it has to do with like your DNA, like how long you like you're gonna look like this until you're 50 or something.
Yes.
It like determines how you're gonna age, right? So they're gonna use your DNA to control your telomeres to make them basically, you can look like you're 20 until you're 80, right? So if you do this 23andMe now, you would have to do it right now. So if they take my DNA right now, I'm 26 years old, I could reverse age, but I could only reverse age back to 26. So I can't go
until the first time you take it.
Until the first time you do the 23andMe or any other DNA program like that, and they save your DNA, but you can't go beyond that. Like I couldn't reverse age back to like 5 years old or 6 years old. Yeah. But in the future, if I did the 23andMe today, there's a possibility when I'm 80, they could reverse age me back to 26.
Whoa, dude, that's crazy.
That's insane.
It's maybe nuts. A conspiracy, but it's a very maybe logical conspiracy if you ask me, because it's a company that would end up doing that for, I don't know what purposes, but like, why would you want to do that? Like, you know, like
be 26 again.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. It's just like, it's like it's those answers that people are just like, why would you want to mess around with your society that way? I don't know. But I feel like that's always a great topic to kind of talk about, especially.
Or cloning. They could clone you. They could clone Mitchell and then make him, you know, I don't know, would I be the same person? Would I be a different person? Who knows? But like, cloning's real. They clone a sheep. Like, it's real. It's just the future. Like, are we going to do it on humans? They probably already have, honestly.
Dude.
We're running out of time, ladies and gentlemen. But like, oh my God.
What do you think, Jack? This is like
I don't know. I don't know about cloning. Like, what's the point of cloning?
What's the point of cloning? I mean, think about this. I mean,
like, why would I want to be living right now and have a copy of me?
But they would be. Okay, well,
like,
I guess
how's that going to benefit me?
I mean, look at Star Wars, the Clone Wars. I mean, well,
do I want to have an army of Jacks running around?
I mean, the military. I'm saying, like, it could be used in so many different ways. It could be used military-wise, or just like, say, you couldn't have kids, right? And like, or like, maybe what if your DNA was preserved and you died at 30, right? And then like your mother or something like wanted. Like, she like couldn't deal with the heartache of you being gone, and then if they just cloned you, you would be back again.
Okay, like,
it would like make people feel better, I guess. I
get that, but like, would I still be me? Like,
no.
Like, if my mom wanted a copy of me, I guarantee it wouldn't be the same.
I guess it's more practical and like animal standpoint. So like, for instance, like if you have the perfect cow, you could clone the perfect cow over and over and over again,
100%.
right? And you could use it for. We would never have food shortages if we had like, we could just clone the same cow over and over again. Or, but like, say your favorite dog passed away, R.I.P., right?
Okay.
And you want that dog again, you just clone it.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. I like it for animals, but
but I don't want another Jack.
I don't need another me. But I do like the idea of okay, after you die, you can have what neurotransmitter? Yeah, just have that, and it like you live your best times.
It's like a reset.
But
it's like that. I think that's what you're saying.
It's not you like, you know, physically coming back as a clone. It's you like in your own mind reliving those days, and you're always gonna feel like you're living it in person. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
See, that'd be fun. Like, it wouldn't affect anybody around you. You would just. It wouldn't be a, you know, emptiness after death.
Would you have a set timeline like you would know when you're gonna, I guess, reboot again?
Yeah, definitely.
To the point where you're like I need to get all these things done until you're out.
I definitely. Well, when you say get these things done,
it's kind of like saying like you'll know when you're gonna die, and once you know you're gonna die, you want to do all these different things before you die. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I
could be talking about whole something.
No, I get what you're saying. I think if I was going to die and I wanted to have a certain timeline in my life that I want to relive,
Right.
it would definitely be my 20s.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just because I just feel like
It's your best time.
it's my best time. It's my prime. I'm young. I had a lot going. I still have a lot going for me, and I just think it'd be the great time to do it.
Dude, 100%. I think your 20s, and this is why I think a lot of people, this is how we can end it, is like the 20s are like the best time of your life, that I feel like a lot of people now our age are realizing that I think the idea of like settling when you're 60, 70 and having a whole mindset shift of like that, those are supposed to be my best years of my life is never mind. It's supposed to be the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's in like what is happening to a lot of people our age is that we're realizing that and that all this like security and stuff that we're banking on when we're 60 is like not nonsense, but I feel like they want to live up their best lives here now in their 20s.
Yeah. And there's like that old fashioned mindset where it's like, oh, like I'm in high school, like I'm turning 18, like, oh, I'm going to be in my early 20s. That's when I need to settle down and get married. Just stuff. Have all that stuff. And it's just like, no, like you don't have your life figured out when you're 18. Exactly. Like your whole 20s, like that's when you figure yourself out, who you are, what you want in life. And that's just the greatest days you have to.
100%. Yeah. That's a great way to finish it off right there.
For sure. Mitch, do you have anything to say?
He said about everything. I know we've covered a lot of topics tonight, honestly.
Yeah, went all over the place.
Yeah, we did, but it was fun. There's a lot of laughs. There was a lot of laughs. This might have been like one of the funniest podcasts I've done. Like it's funny.
We should do it again sometime.
Yeah.
100%. Is that the way you want to finish it off? Jack kind of ended in an inspirational way.
I wasn't trying to be able to sap about it. I was just saying, like the 20s, that's your whole time for exploring.
Can you give an inspirational speech to sign off?
Yes. That's
okay.
what I was
Johnny, come on.
I don't know. Like you only live once. Me and Jack talk about this all the time. You only live once. You're here. You're here now. Just don't question yourself. If you feel your life going in one central direction, don't be scared of it. Like your gut feeling could be literally coming from somewhere beyond, right? Yeah. And you won't realize it until you're at the place you need to be. So don't shy away from it, man. Just keep going on the path you are. And once you feel yourself like, maybe I shouldn't be here right now, then don't hesitate. Change your path, right? Like just change the way you think, the way you like live your life. If you don't feel comfortable, go for it. Change your path and don't even hesitate. Do it right then and there. I'm just going to leave you with that. Think about that. Sleep on that right now. And it's been a great night. Thank you for having us. And
I got one more little inspirational thing to say.
He's like, damn, I need to talk about
it. We're the youngest we're ever going to be. Come on. Don't think too much about it. Just live your best life. Have the most fun with it. And you're going to be okay. Like, we have a lot of figuring out to do. There's no timeline. We're going to be good.
You hear that, folks, right there? That's coming from Jack and Mitch. Well, guys, we're going to end it here. We were 5 minutes over the mark. Finally, the card was full. I was like, damn, 2 hours. But we ended it on a good note. That's the best way to finish it off, guys. Know that your 20s are the best times of your life. Know that whatever happens for a reason. And I don't want to get into another savvy little inspirational speech because they took it really well. So, guys, thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Slice of Life podcast. Like I said, folks, Mitchell May was on here. Jack, guys, where can people find you? I was forgot about that. Now that the thing is full, just go ahead. The audio's still going. Jack, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Jaqua. That's pretty much it.
That's it. Facebook, Twitter.
Is there an underscore?
Social Security.
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Social Security.
Sign up for a banana card.
You want a loyalty card?
Banana Republic.
Yeah, shout out. Okay. You can find me at mitchell.mouse on Instagram and YouTube, Mitchell May. Good luck finding me there. But yeah, check me out. Thank you for having me again, man.
Dude, and, it's always fun to have you guys on, Jack. It's a good time to have you on, and I was definitely gonna bring you on, and another episode, dude. Definitely, both of you guys are funny people. They love listening to you, man. They love listening to what you have to say. Apparently, I don't know how. Why.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like, hey, yeah, he is a cool guy. Yeah, Jack. Everybody knows Jack now, so definitely you're gonna be back on. But we're going to end it here, guys. Like I said, I'm going to put their information on the link down below. Thank you for tuning in for another Slice of Life episode. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Sayonara.
Thank you, Johnny.
Later.
That was a good one.